This episode of the podcast is brought to you in part by Lisa, an innovative direct-to-consumer online mattress brand that is also socially conscious. For every 10 mattresses Lisa sells, they'll donate one to a shelter through their 110 program. They've got a patented universal adaptive feel up in this mattress. It's designed for all types of sleepers. And now Lisa's expanded its offerings to include the Lisa pillow, blanket, foundation, and frame. You can try a Lisa mattress in your own home for 100 nights risk-free. It's available in the US, UK, Canada, and Germany online with free shipping. This is a 100% American-made mattress that will ship compressed in a box right to your door. You want to see one in person? You can check it out at the Lisa Dream Gallery in Soho, NYC, and Virginia Beach, and over 80 West Elm stores nationwide. Get $100 off when you go to leesa.com/bombcast.
Is it okay to use a joke that was not actually said on the podcast as the podcast title?
Maybe. I don't know.
Can we?
Yeah. I mean,
If you mention it now, then it's.
I mean, don't mention it now because then it'll just be a fun title.
Does anybody have a copy of the podcast bylaws that we could check?
Yeah, I got them here. It says
Article 3,
offer
subsection
code
B.
It says make sure you read the call to action twice.
Okay.
And give the offer code, spell it out if necessary.
Man, it's extra bad because the joke also functions sort of as a free plug for a product. It's not paying us.
All right, well then.
So I don't know.
Well, then
but it was
how about
pretty good joke.
We'll take this to the advertiser and see if we can get that. I actually know someone who represents this brand for podcasts.
We should just turn it into its own mini podcast series.
That's
Get
a great
them
idea.
To sponsor like a 6 episode.
All right. Button this whole thing up. Just put a lid on this. We are going to launch the most money-making podcast in all of history.
Say the joke.
Yeah, not since Meet My Friends, the Friends has there been a podcast that's going to make so much damn money.
Cliff Barzinski.
There it is.
Okay.
That's the joke.
Well, now we can't. All right, great.
But now I have a podcast title.
You ruined the whole thing.
30 seconds into the show, that
Great.
little bit of business is taken care of.
Okay.
It's March 6th, Tuesday. It's China Podcast.
I mean, if the title's done, then I guess we can just phone in the rest of it.
I know.
We're almost into fiscal Q1
It's
2018.
May.
Yeah, what is the last day
of
the fiscal year?
End of March.
End of
is
March.
usually
Is it the literal calendar last day of March?
Yeah,
okay.
that's
no, not like the last Tuesday.
I mean, any company can pick whatever fiscal year they want to run, but traditionally a lot of game companies end their fiscal year March 31st or whatever it is. So
it's good for tax season.
Yeah, which is why a lot of games come out.
But generally, the last Tuesday is the last day that matters to us.
That's
That's when most of the games come out.
Yeah, traditionally. Yeah.
Some games are coming out.
I just looked. I think Far Cry 5 is the only big game coming out on that last Tuesday this month.
Well, it's a lot of games spread out throughout the year now, but
That's true.
typically it'll be like the last day of a quarter because they'll want to count the launch as part of the launch day earnings as part of a specific quarter to boost the numbers.
But you're basically
blah.
just goosing your numbers
I guess
at the last possible
I don't
second.
fucking know how business works, man.
Yeah.
That's a trend that has happened that as the industry moves deeper and deeper into more and more good-ass independent developers that are not public companies, a lot of this stuff is happening less and less.
Let's just slap some arbitrary tariffs on indie games.
Yeah, that would actually, his dad said it straight.
Yes.
There we go.
25% tariffs on imported indie games starting now.
Great. And who gets that
Wait,
money?
can we start
Do I get
later today so I
Us?
can get some games downloaded?
Oh,
Yeah, okay. Consider this your moment to,
Okay.
get your insider trading done.
It's great.
All right.
They love when you say that into a microphone.
Dump all your indie games on the market.
That's
before
right.
these changes go into effect.
Get them out there. CD keys.
I gotta call my itch broker.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
What's going on? What is new?
Gosh. So, I don't know.
Everybody's jumping up and down in here.
I fucking shucked a drive over the weekend.
Oh, I saw you posting pictures of
Yeah.
that.
Wait, what?
I did some drive
hang on,
shucking.
I'm gonna-
Some good old fashioned
that?
I meant to-
shucking and driving.
I meant to Google
Like
that. when you
oysters?
tweeted it.
Yeah,
Like oysters, but with hard drives.
Oh.
I get it now.
I thought you were like on the road dealing with seafood.
I mean, I am also doing that. That is, I keep a cooler full of live abalone in the back.
It tastes better on the road. There's something about just being out there on the highway, wind in your hair.
I thought you
trout
joined
in my
the farmer's
face.
market.
Oh,
and
yeah.
started selling seafood.
local farm fresh type shit.
How to get premium hard drives for cheap by shucking external drives.
That's right.
That's what this headline says.
Yeah.
What?
Shuck the shit out of that drive.
What is shucking and why bother?
All right, so I shucked it up.
Hey, Jeff, what is shucking and why bother?
The original meaning of shucking is to remove the shuck or outer protective layer from food like corn and shellfish.
Yeah, I shucked the shit out of that drive.
Yank the shuck off that thing.
So yeah, I don't know. I was in need of a hard drive for my server machine, and I was in the market for a hard drive, and realized that is still a thing people do. Best Buy will sell you an 8 terabyte Western Digital external drive for like $180, and internal versions of those drives end up being significantly more.
Wait, really? Weird.
Yeah, I don't know how that shit works.
You're paying less for more?
Yes, basically something like that. So there's a catch. There has started to be a bit of a catch with it that I found out the hard way. So you buy one of these drives and you bust it the fuck open and take the drive out and put that drive in your computer, and then you're like, fucking yeah. Now I got this enclosure if I want to slap another drive in that or not. I don't know, whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
And normally those would be Western Digital red drives, which are,
those are the good
Yeah.
NAS
yeah.
24/7 drives.
Yeah. And then sometimes though, increasingly, I guess, I don't know.
This article literally has a picture of a Western Digital red in it.
That is literally, you buy that specific thing, you bust it the fuck open.
This is a known process.
Yeah. There are many videos of people cutting credit cards into quarters to stick in the back of this thing to get the case of this Easy Store open. But then sometimes you open it up and it's a white drive in there, and I guess those drives are fine from what I've read, but they have a all right. So SATA pins. Let's talk about them.
Okay.
The SATA connector, the power connector. There's a feature that these white drives use that when you hook them up in a standard PC causes the drives to not spin up because they ground out on pins 1 through 3, and that prevents them from starting up as seemingly as a way to prevent people from doing the thing I'm doing.
I see.
But it is part of a standard for, like, if you were running a server machine, you might want this kind of cable. I guess it's a way you can power up the drives or power them down remotely.
Okay.
In theory, is how it would be used. So you end up having to. There are 2 ways to do this: the right way, and the way I did it. The right way is to get a Molex to SATA converter.
Yeah.
So you're converting the old style Molex power connector to SATA, and then plug that into the drive, and it'll spin right up, no fucking problem. The other way is to take a piece of tape and put it over pins 1 through 3 on the connector on the drive.
All right.
And then if the SATA connector does not connect to pins 1 through 3, the drive will spin the fuck up.
Okay.
So I took a piece of Scotch tape, cut it, put it over all the pins, and then cut it very carefully to cover pins 1 through. Apparently, covering pin 4 is fine too. And then I slapped that power connector on, worked first try.
All right.
I spent like hours going like, well, fucking, why doesn't the BIOS see this fucking drive? Rebooting it over and over again. Going like, I don't know, this drive isn't there. Maybe check this connector. Are some of my SATA ports bad? No, I found 2 extra SATA connectors on my motherboard that I didn't even know I had. So I can hook up 8 hard drives in this motherfucker eventually.
That's exciting.
Anyway, long story short, by Sunday morning, I had an additional 8 terabytes in my server machine. It's pretty good.
So,
Shucky ducky.
Yeah.
So you did all that because it was a little bit cheaper?
Yeah.
Cool.
And it was a fun project for me.
Yes, sure.
I did it thinking that I would crack this thing open and jab it in there and be like, word.
Yeah.
And then when it didn't happen that way, I was like, oh.
Then it became more of a challenge,
Yes.
but maybe more rewarding in the long.
Maybe.
Hopefully your tape is cut to exacting specifications.
It was a pretty good cut job, honestly.
Okay.
And it worked all first try. Like it worked out pretty good. I was surprised.
Measure twice, cut once.
That's
the only thing I remember from my shop class.
Yeah, and then what did you make?
CD case holder, like a little box.
A wood
CDs,
box that you could put CDs in.
Yeah,
I made a planter box. They had us like, it was like a tall back on the back of it, and it was like an enclosure to put stuff in. And they're like, well, feel free to like cut a design into it or whatever. And the only thing that was handy around the wood shop, and also we were in the 7th grade, was like a a big brush. So everyone just took the handle of the brush and carved it around that, and then cut these things out, and it just looked like a dickish sort of thing. I cut mine the other way, so it was an innie instead of an outie.
Nice.
Be
different.
That was the whole plan.
You were like, I love Apple computing, and I just need to represent that lifestyle to the max.
That's right. Apple II in stores now.
Yeah. Best computer on the market.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's what I did over the weekend. Played some video games too, I guess. But but really, it was more fun to
Shuckin drive,
rip this fucking drive apart and do all that stuff. It was dumb.
Yeah, sounds exciting.
Yeah.
That's why I don't know. Like half the time, I enjoy like updating the firmware more than actually using the thing.
That's probably says bad things about where we're at as a people, but I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like fixing the thing up is more fun than actually using the thing.
Yeah. They always seem to put out an iOS, like a brand new iOS beta, like not long before E3. And so that is often the decision I have to make before E3 is do I want to go into E3 with a less reliable phone?
Potentially ruin the thing that you rely on for a week.
And it's been fine. Yeah, most years I just do it and go, fuck it. But
maybe this phone will be a little hot in my pocket for a few days.
That's fine. It's okay. It's LA. Everything's a little hot.
That's true.
Yeah.
Very true.
The E3 is on the mind.
Oh.
For sure, at least around these parts. By these parts, I mean my side of the table. We've got our first meeting with like the marketing team, I think, tomorrow here to talk about the process of getting a room to do the show in, to make sure that we meet our food and beverage minimums.
What kind of budgets are we working with?
Yeah, exactly.
Do with it?
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. So,
can we get more of that hummus? They have that really good hummus.
Yeah, the hummus is good.
I will pass these suggestions along.
Yeah, bring that to the higher ups.
I'll bring that.
The place has good guacamole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that place has mostly terrible food.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of it,
by and large. And as a part of us, looking forward to that. That'll be a good time for you. But
so here's the thing. It's mostly horrible, but in the like desert cyclone that is E3, just seeing food like on a table is one of the best feelings that I have felt ever.
All right. Yeah.
So it was very much
it was very necessary.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the weird thing that like when we first started getting these rooms to do this show in and stopped like, I don't know, Airbnb-ing people's homes or whatever the fuck we were doing before. Over like
before it was cool,
just rolling up on a crack house with a pistol and saying we're gonna shoot a show here, or
is basketball about to end? Oh yeah, this is the perfect spot.
Great.
Bringing sleeping bags to E3.
Yeah, that one house that we discovered on the last night was that had rats in it. That was a fun thing for the people that were sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
I was not sleeping on the floor, so I was like, whatever. And we're packing up anyway. But
rats can't climb beds.
No, they definitely can't. They can't, and they wouldn't. Honestly.
No, they wouldn't.
They have too much respect. One year in that same house, I slept in a different room where the bed was like, the bed frame was broken, and the whole thing was slanted over to the side, and I was constantly in fear of rolling off the bed. We stayed in some pretty sketchy places over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now that we get these rooms, they come with like a food and beverage minimum. Like if you're going to rent this room for this many days, you must also spend this much on food and beverage. Yeah. And it's like, but your whole menu is mostly shit.
Well, that's easy when a pot of coffee is $200.
Yeah, basically.
Really not tough to hit that
the
minimum.
only coffee I drink anyway.
Yeah, no, it's the only good stuff.
It's that monkey poop one.
No, they tell you it's that, but it's really just Folgers.
Folgers monkey poop?
Yeah, Folgers monkey poop.
They're trying to get into the craft coffee game.
Definitely.
Folgers. Yeah. They're trying to appeal to the millennial pour-over market.
Someone's got to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Chemexes all the way down. Yeah, I don't know. It's the logistical stuff of E3 is always dumb.
Yeah.
Because it's stuff like that. It's like, hey, internet bandwidth, is it very important? No, it's very important.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna say again, extremely important. It needs to be in the contract how important it is. And that sort of stuff. But then, I don't know. The food is always fine. It's a dumb thing to complain about, but it's like it's the weird thing that like, oh, you have to think about this because the money is spent either way.
Right.
But man, I sure wish that we could just kind of fend for ourselves a little more and get food externally because that food is
as opposed to
expensive, B, not great.
Yeah, as opposed to literally not being allowed to carry food into that room.
Right.
From outside.
Yes.
To the point that you might pack a suitcase
Nature
full of...
finds a way.
I'll stop there.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. E3 is going to happen again. I really want to see what the fuck it's even going to be this year because this will be their next big year into. They've had a year to ruminate on. Hey, this thing was open to the public, and like maybe was a okay first attempt, but boy, sure could have been better. I know they're having like
press hours.
Yeah. Which I don't think actually.
Did they have that last? They didn't have that
I don't
last
think
year.
They have like 3 hours every day.
Oh, that's
except maybe
doesn't-
Sunday. I think
yeah.
the last day is all day, but
I don't think that does any good, honestly, because everyone's appointments are spread out all over the place throughout the day, and also behind closed doors. So, like, having the floor be more clear, I don't think actually does that much.
I feel
it
like
just makes it easier to walk from place to place.
Sure.
That's about it.
I feel like it got okay last year after like the second day. I feel like that day one was like people were tweeting pictures of that line, going back for blocks and blocks.
Yeah.
But it seems like by the second day they kind of got a little more smoothly.
It's like they had either figured it out or fewer people were showing up for Sunday or something like that.
I feel like it was probably both.
Yeah. People that got multiple days of passes were like, oh, we super don't need to go back.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, I guess like they're going to do like before they did some programming that like Keeley ran of like panels and stuff. And I think that only happened for the first 2 days. I think that's happening for the entire show this year. So there'll always be something for people to do over there. I wonder how much the show will be different this year with a year to think about how best to handle crowds and if that then impacts which types of games are shown by publishers on the floor if they're like programming their booth for the public as opposed to the industry. I don't know. I'm curious to see how the show goes. It could be a weird one.
Same. Plus, it's been 5 years since new consoles came out.
Right.
Almost, roughly.
Yeah.
Ish. So,
or
if we start getting into weird territory with that.
Or it's been 1 year, depending
but
on who
that's
you
the thing.
ask.
Those things came out, so maybe it'll be another 5 years before we hear about another thing.
I don't think we were talking about this on this show.
No, it was the after show.
Yeah, we were talking about like when do you think we'll start to hear more about a next set of consoles?
You were saying like 2019.
I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing like rumblings
Code
next
names.
year. Yeah, for like a 2020 rollout.
Yeah,
because that'd be far enough away from, at least for Sony. Microsoft just put the X out, so I think they might be a little less ready to.
I think somebody said the word Durango to me like 2011.
Yeah,
maybe 2012. Like
and then
a good year and a half before the Xbox One came out.
Yeah, we were definitely
Something
making
like that.
Durango jokes.
Yeah,
pretty early on.
Hearing stuff.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Posting pictures of Dodge Durangos to Twitter like nobody's business.
Yep.
Yeah, so that I don't know. That seems like a 2020 at the earliest for stuff going on sale. So I don't think we would hear anything serious about that stuff at E3 this year.
Yeah. Maybe longer.
The best I could piece together thinking about it was probably a new Mortal Kombat, right?
Sure. That's probably a safe bet.
If they put out a game every other April, then April 2019 would be Mortal Kombat 11, I guess.
I'm really curious what Nintendo is going to be up to because they've put out their Mario, they put out their Zelda.
Yeah.
I mean, those are like the big ones when it comes to
I would bet
IP. Like,
I would bet the number of leaks or the number of rumors about Metroid means that Metroid will be a big centerpiece.
Oh, I mean, that's just something that's already announced.
Yeah, they announced that, so.
Like, do they bring anything brand new and crazy?
Because it's not like there's one franchise now. Most people are waiting for that. They got those two out of the way.
Kid Icarus. I mean, everyone's going crazy for it.
There's like a Smash, maybe like a Smash announcement.
I would not say everyone's waiting for a new Smash, but sure.
Maybe some Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I was just about to say Animal Crossing. That's my bet.
But they just put out an Animal Crossing game.
But they tend to want to put those things out as ads for other games.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Did you know a new Kirby game is coming to Switch like next week?
Yeah, like Dan said something. Dan said something about covering a new Kirby game, and I was like, "Wait, what?
I love Kirby.
Is that a phone game? What are you talking about?"
I had completely forgotten.
Yeah,
I hope it's good.
I had no idea
was coming.
I hope it's a little more.
And that it was coming to Switch. Like someone mentioned a Kirby game, and I was like, "Oh well, I guess 3DS stuff."
Yeah, I literally thought it would be like a
weird
portable game or maybe a mobile game or something.
Well, that'd go in the Kirby tradition of like coming out at the end of a console's life.
Right. Yeah.
Even on the Wii U, they were kind of sneaking those Yoshi and Kirby games out.
Yeah. I've heard mixed things. I guess they have put a demo out for the Kirby game.
Really?
And that I've heard.
It's just there to download?
I suppose so.
Shit.
Yeah,
I'll
I've
check
heard
that out.
mixed things about it.
Huh.
So
Does he still suck? Or
I would hope so.
Well, he blows this.
Yeah.
oh, you're right. You're right. Okay.
Is it still Hal making those? Or who's...
I believe so.
Yeah.
I
Hal's busy getting a piece of that mobile game.
that's right.
I hadn't played that thing yet, but they have a
The,
mobile game out.
what something
Part-time UFO?
Part-time UFO.
Looks like some kind of physics-based crane UFO catcher.
Yeah, and it's for
Game.
sale for money. It's not like
Yeah,
a
it's like
free-to-play thing.
$4 game.
I should check that out.
It's the momentous price of that
Oh, it
thing.
costs money. I'm in. That's what Ben says.
Stopped me from impulse downloading.
Yeah, premium mobile gamer.
I mean, that's
Ben Pack
it's way
has
more
logged
appealing to
on.
me if you tell me a game costs a few dollars than it is free, because if
Yeah.
it is free, I know that means they want to hook me in some other way.
That is
Yeah.
the right mindset.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Though I'm sure that there are still ways to give them money after giving them the initial $4.
I would-
didn't see
I
anything,
would
actually.
also
There was
assume
no
so. I
there
guess
was
I don't
no
know,
in
yeah.
contains in-app purchases.
Oh, really?
I think it might even actually be it.
Wow.
Huh.
I should go get that thing. I want to try that.
Yeah, I might give that a go.
What else have you given a go?
Oh, let's
Of late.
see. I don't know. After finishing Metal Gear Survive, I found myself reluctant to play video games ever again.
Oh no.
Understandable.
Yeah, it broke me. No,
I think
we're
I
done.
also
wrap it up.
burned out on that game pretty
Good,
hard.
Good. I was worried about you for a moment there.
Earlier than I left off at that event I played it at a few weeks
Oh,
ago.
wow,
I did
okay.
not even get
Yep.
it back up to the point. I never activated the first wormhole teleporter thing.
Yeah, no, we did that quick look, and I remember you being like, actually, some of this looks okay. And then as I played deeper and deeper into it, I was worried that you would get hooked on it in a bad way.
I mean, it was you finishing it and coming back and saying, yeah, this thing never makes good on any of even its tiny promise.
No, it's like I was saying. There's a review up on the site if you want to read a little bit more about it. So I don't know. But the only thing I'd probably reiterate that is maybe not in the review is that the story feels like fan fiction written by someone who said, wormholes, what's up with those? From Phantom Pain. That's crazy, right? Let's do a whole story talking about where those things come from.
Yeah.
And the details are not actually exciting or interesting.
Yeah.
And the late game, the end game on that stuff of grinding out these timers of hey, defend this base for 10 minutes and then come back in 24 real-time hours to do it again.
Everything you said about the late game stuff in that was enough to make me go, nope, not worth slogging through this stuff.
It is a poor product by just about any metric. Yeah.
Let's never talk about it again.
All right.
I can't
guarantee
At
that.
length.
I can't guarantee
How about
it, but
length?
yes.
How about let's make an effort
Yes.
to not
Let's
talk
make an
about
effort to only talk about it if it does something new and exciting.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Or if it's in the context of the best and worst games of a year,
Sure.
perhaps it would
yeah.
come up in that context as well.
Sure.
We'll see.
Yeah. Did you play any Into the Breach?
No, no, I don't.
I think the rest of us probably have mostly been playing.
Yeah,
So we should just talk about
that was the more I look at it, the more I see it and think that looks really cool, and I don't know that I after UPF, after watching you go through the motions on some turns, even though you were taking advice from total chuckleheads.
Chuckleheads, expert strategists.
Chuckleheads.
Expert
I was
okay.
like, man, I don't know that I want to get into this. I appreciate it, and there's a part of me that would love to get into it, but then when I see people out there tweeting about notation like it was chess, I'm just like, yeah, that's cool. I don't think I want to do this.
It's a very exacting game.
Yeah,
you,
totally.
There are ways to basically optimize every turn because it communicates every piece of information. It's
right.
It shows exactly where every enemy is going to hit on the next turn, exactly how much damage they're going to do. There's no randomness.
It's a puzzle to be solved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's no.
Yeah.
It's not like XCOM. There's no oh, you have a 75% chance to hit. No, they will hit if they are on target. And because you have that information, it's like solving just a very complex strategy puzzle on every turn.
Yeah. I think
it's
that's really
awesome.
cool.
It is super cool, but we're talking 10 to 20 minutes a turn in a lot of cases.
Oh, yeah.
If
I
not,
mean,
definitely.
it is an incredibly slowly paced game. You have to force yourself to just sit there and stare.
Yeah.
It's so good when you just the feeling of sitting and staring and kind of moving some. So one thing I really like about Into the Breach is you can move your pieces and then undo moves, even if you step in a landmine or something like that. You can undo your move, and I was wondering why this was in here, but I realized it's to help you visualize your turn as it's going to play out. I have to move this guy first, and then what does it look like if I move up this guy?
Yeah, because it can be easy to lose track of who's doing what in your head when you map your whole thing out. Yeah,
it's just up till where you attack, you can bring those pieces back, and so it's super satisfying, just like playing with it, moving it around, and then resetting all your guys back to neutral, and then taking your turn like that. Like you're like, okay, I have my turn. This guy moves here. This guy moves here. This guy blasts.
Can you move like all your units as long as none of them attack and
Yep.
then reset all of them?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was just the last one you moved. Oh wow.
And then you can even once encounter reset your whole turn.
So if you play something out and it goes horribly
like,
wrong, and you're like, oh, I locked that in. And
I didn't realize this guy was going to nudge this guy into this path.
I
And
did that for the first time this morning. Also, they like write it into the story where it like gets all wavy.
Yeah.
And then one of your units just like, did we just enter another timeline? Like, it's
Or like the CEO of the island just yells at you like, what the fuck's going on? Something's off here.
I really like the writing.
Yeah.
Like, it's
That stuff's cool. I really like the look of it too. Just the unit variety looks really fascinating. And I probably will give it a shot at some point, but it looks daunting and time consuming in a way that I don't think I'm looking for right now.
The fact that you can just save a run and get out is amazing.
Right.
Like I've had the same run going since I think last Thursday.
Really?
Just play a match or two a day. It's because it was going so well. I was afraid to keep going until it went super bad, and then this morning it went super bad. So
What difficulty are you playing on?
normal.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm on the third island.
Okay.
I made it through the first two islands taking no damage. I had full power grid, full everything.
Sweet.
In the space of one turn, I went from full power grid to one power grid.
Are you using the default squad?
Yeah,
or?
so
Okay.
I haven't played easy, so I haven't unlocked any others yet. I've just kind of slowly making my way through it.
Yeah.
I've got 3 squads now, and I think the first is still my favorite. I like the Rusting Hulks quite a bit.
That's the
Rusting
one
Hunks?
everybody
Hulks?
says. Why are they so good? Everybody says that's the
The plane, you can disable attacks.
Okay.
And then with the artillery unit, it adds electricity to the smoke, so you add damage to that.
Wow.
And it also shoots smoke out from behind it when it shoots forward.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
And
There's a lot of like combos you
Mhm.
can do with those guys. They work well together.
And then the third one is passive, but if you upgrade it enough, you can grant a shield to friendly units if you push them.
Huh.
So with that unit or with that squad, I found myself not really going for the kill, but just surviving until the very end.
Yeah.
And then I like the different types of units, right? There's like the heavy units, which are kind of your mobile suit looking guys, and like tanks.
Yeah.
And then there's like the science class units, which are like weird, have weird effects. Like there's one.
Oh, is that like the enemy ones, the enemy squid things that give buffs?
They have a variety of different skills, but they look like little like floating rectangles, kind of. They look like med kits almost. Okay. But I had one who got the ability eventually to just swap places with anyone it was in a line with.
Huge.
And so it would just float over the water, swap place with a Vec, dunk him in the water.
Oh, you can do it to enemies too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that sounds awesome.
And then, of course, you can mix and match these squads. So once you... So the way the upgrade system works is really cool, right? You have a bunch of squads that you unlock with coins or medals. I forget what they're called in
Yeah, so
game.
it's the currency you get from achievements.
Yeah, and so each squad will have 3 achievements with it that are specific to that squad. Like the default squad is a big mech, a tank, and an artillery guy. And one of them is like the big mech can get an upgrade where he will move. He can move unlimited spaces to do like a charge punch.
Oh.
And so one of the achievements is kill an enemy 5 spaces away with a charge punch. And if you do that, you get a medal, and then you can use those medals to unlock other squads, which give you more achievements. You also get medals when you complete the game, the last boss after either 2, 3, or 4 islands. Each of those will give you a different achievement, and so it really encourages you to like play and learn each of the squads and how they interact in their own way. And like, I like that because immediately I was like, oh, I'm just gonna build my own squad of these, because you can pick and choose units from squads, and so I built.
Is that something that happens like right off the bat, or when you first start, you only have the one squad?
You only have the one,
so
and the first one unlocks with 1 token. I think it's
2 tokens.
2 tokens. Yeah. It's fairly easy to get the first one after a couple playthroughs, but you don't have any. There are 3 achievements for a custom squad, but you're not. It really wants you to use these squads, and you can play around with other squads, and then of course you can mix and match different pilots, which is really cool. My favorite pilot, I have 2 like AI pilots. Have you guys unlocked any of the AI?
I've got one.
Those guys are cool.
I've got one named Archimedes.
Yeah, They're cool because they like require a power core to even have their ability. But like one of them gives flying, so I just have like a flying mech guy. Another one I can drop him anywhere on the map, and he'll do AOE damage like at the beginning in the drop phase.
Wow.
Yeah,
dude, that's huge.
Yeah,
before they even get to move.
Yep.
Yeah.
My favorite pilot is the one where she's invulnerable to smoke and getting stuck or like ensnared by some of the units.
That's really
so it's
good.
funny. I'll just stick her out front to taunt to get everyone's attention. And then she's safe. We cool.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of FTL in the upgrade stuff. Because even if you're using one of the standard squads, you get drops of random like gear for your mechs throughout the thing. So you're swapping around abilities on your mechs on the fly.
Okay. Yeah.
And like they were saying, the pilots have passive skills, and also you get energy. Like you basically have a store of energy for each mech, and you are doling that energy out to different subsystems, kind of like the ships in FTL,
right? Okay.
To activate different abilities and gear and stuff like that.
I like that you can move those around ad hoc. You don't have to commit to anyone.
Totally. Like you've probably seen the ability where you can like jump on a line and land and push guys around. Like one match I'll have that on the tank, and then like the next match I'll be like, like the mech should have that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my heel on the tank. Like you can change their roles on the fly.
Or like you find a pilot in a time pod, and they are way better than the one you have, so you'll swap around your pilots and like put them in the mech and the other guy in the tank.
Yeah, it's like I want to have my artillery have an extra move space and stuff like that. It's super dynamic.
That's
really,
cool. Yeah, because
really
all I've really seen is the actual like battle stuff. I haven't seen any of the kind of the setup stuff.
That's when it really gets going. Is when you get a bunch of extra abilities and start mixing and matching stuff.
Neat.
Yeah,
it's cool. I had to ask Jan beat it.
Yes.
And I had to ask him how long the last island was because I felt like I was very close, and turns out I was one turn away from my first 4. It was a 4 island run too. I had like really souped up teams, and man.
Do you guys have any sense of when is the easiest time to beat it? Like I finished the second island, and I was just like, maybe I should just go try to finish this.
I think it depends. Like if you have really good energy, and like decent abilities, because it scales, right? With how many islands you've completed. Like if you're like wiping islands and you're just having an especially good run, then do it on 2. But I feel like I just have more options when I do more islands, even though the enemies will scale up.
That's the fact. Don't all the enemies get basically like 1 more health per island? I think is how it goes.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. But just having more tools at my disposal, like having every mech has 2 weapons basically they can equip. They default 1, and then either like a passive or another active. And just having like all my mechs have those guys and those things leveled up makes me feel more capable.
Sure.
Nice.
It's really cool. It's a great.
So good.
I'm just sitting on the couch watching TV, playing this on my laptop. Like it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever used Steam streaming for anything. Is to stream it to my MacBook, because there's only a Windows version right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I would pay like $50 for an iPad version of this like right now.
Yeah, I would love a Switch version.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's a super tiny team, like that they've said. I think FTL took like 2 years to come to tablet or something like that.
That sounds right.
It was a while
after PC. Yeah, it took ages, so it's not expecting it anytime soon. I just want it real bad.
Yeah,
that's cool. It might be my favorite turn-based strategy game ever.
It's really scratching my Advance Wars itch. My Fire Emblem, like it's not 1-to-1 to any of those games.
Yeah, it's not exactly, but I like this better in a way.
Yeah, me too.
It's a little bit more simplified, where there's not as much math, but there's still planning.
Like the maps are very small.
Yeah.
Like if you compare those to like Advanced Wars.
Yeah, I went into it because they're only 8x8, thinking like this looks kind of limited. Like, is this can be super simplistic? But like I think it's like the perfect size.
Just the moment there are 4 enemies on screen, you're just like, oh fuck.
Maybe that's the expansion. Is just like, occasionally you get a 10x10 grid, and when it pops up, you're like, oh no.
I would like if they added some sort of like daily challenge or something,
cool.
like
something
a daily
like
puzzle.
Yeah.
Because from what I get, like after you beat the game, like you've beaten the game, and sure you're gonna unlock all the other squads and stuff, but it doesn't seem like there's too much else there.
It does seem way more beatable than FTL did.
Yes.
Did you guys try to play the end game of that thing much? Like the Rebel flagship, like I fucking rage deleted the game at one point because that thing is so insane.
Never got past that.
I didn't get much into FTL.
Never got past that. Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing some hot games in the battle royale genre.
Oh.
Which is a popular genre of video game.
Based on the film?
Yeah, based unofficially on the film.
The Stone Cold film, right?
Yeah, based on Condemned.
Okay.
The film. It's
that's when people say
movie.
the film.
Yeah, when people say the film, they're talking about The Condemned, starring Stone Cold Steve Austin. H1Z1 came out of early access.
Yeah.
Which,
that zombie game.
Yeah,
So
yes, that zombie game.
It's called H1Z1 again.
Yes. King of the Kill. Okay, let's see what it was.
First, it was H1Z1,
a zombie game.
Yeah.
H1Z1 a zombie game.
Like it was
they
basically
did not actually call it that.
It was basically a DayZ knockoff at first, right?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Okay.
And so that is a separate game. Then they had a mod that went on to become H1Z1 King of the Kill.
Okay.
Which was 100 people jump out of it, like The Thing.
Was that the first one before
no,
Arma?
No, I think there was an Arma thing.
Did the Arma
and
mod happen first, and then
I
King
think
of the
that's
Kill?
how it
I believe
went.
so.
I think that's how it went.
Okay.
And then Battlegrounds came out, and no one ever really thought about H1Z1 ever again. They went and rebranded it again to take King of the Kill out of the name. So H1Z1 is just the Battle Royale game.
Okay.
The old zombie game is now called Just Survive.
Okay.
Don't ask me, man.
Those are two different games.
Those are two different games.
Okay.
Two different products. It's not like Fortnite where you get a menu and you pick which one you want to do. Anyway, whatever. They came out of early access to like zero fanfare because like no one is playing H1Z1 anymore in a world where Fortnite and Battlegrounds exists. H1Z1 is yesterday's news. But we played this on the show on Friday, and I messed with it a little bit more. They have a new mode in there called Auto Royale, which is a car mode. For 4-player squads, it will randomly match you up with other players. If you have not, if you have not joined a team of friends prior to starting the game,
you get to choose between a sedan and a
Humvee looking thing.
Humvee.
Yeah, and it's you stay in the car. You cannot get out of the car. So one player drives, the other 3 are popping out of the windows and shooting. You're running over power-ups to pick up like oil slicks and mines and smoke screens and your extra turbo boost for the car and fucking health packs that you use to fix the car. If you die, you respawn in the car after a set amount of time. And it's just kind of so it becomes a last car standing game. The rest of the standard rules are there. Like there's a circle, it closes in, all that shit.
Okay, so player death's not a big deal.
Exactly.
Just as long as the car's doing okay.
Yeah, as long as the car is okay. You need to heal up the car. You need to keep that car a-going. It's very different, despite sharing most of the rules with this sort of game. Like making it a car game makes it feel incredibly different.
It's very like wacky and madcap.
Yes,
it's like a cartoon.
Yeah, it's overt in a way that like these games have not been. It's not necessarily about like let's hide in this bathroom for. It's just like no, we're gonna fucking
car doesn't fit in the bathroom.
We need to drive around and keep getting more shit.
Yeah, like it was a lot of fucking
ramps.
cars like flying, like 50 feet in the air and just a bunch of goofy shit.
Real dumb.
Yeah,
in a way that was like really exciting. And I've not placed above like 8th or whatever playing with strangers. I want to get some people together, get some of y'all in there and try to play it for real. It's surprisingly engaging.
Yeah.
For a thing that sounds like a bolted on desperate thing of just like, shit, man, no one cares about our game. This is like the coolest thing they could have done.
Like, let's just throw this Hail Mary as we push this thing out
That's
the
what
door
it seems like. I wonder.
Like it.
It's technically it's listed as a beta right now, the Auto Royale mode anyway. So like they came out of early access and added a new beta mode to the game, I guess. So maybe they'll spin this out and call it H1V1 at some point or something. I don't even know. Yeah, it's weirdly cool for a thing that on its face I was looking at and just going like this. I need to see this for myself because it sounds dumb, but it is dumb.
It is dumb, but not in the way you think.
Dumb in a way I totally can believe in. So I don't know. I'm pretty into it.
Was it easy to get into matches?
Yeah,
like seems like a decent number of people playing.
Yeah, seems like it. Yeah, like a little bit of delay here and there, but not a long one. Maybe you'd have like 2 minutes in the warm up area before enough players joined up, But yeah, it seems like it's going.
It seems like that game is better for random 4-player teams than a traditional battle royale thing because seeing a car and focusing your fire on it is a pretty instinctive thing to do, whereas like moving as a tight squad to certain destinations seems...
We ran into one thing on Friday where like I was driver. You can kind of swap around, but it's more like you offer up your seat and then someone else has to hit the button to take your seat.
Yeah.
You can't just force your way out of the driver's seat if you don't want to drive. So I was stuck driving and I'd never driven before. I couldn't hear what the guy on the mic was saying. People on the show did, but like our speaker was a little low, so I don't know. He was just like yelling about, and then he quit. So fucking if people like quit your team, you are super fucked.
Yeah, that was a real bummer when two out of the 4 people on your team.
Yeah, so once one
bailed.
guy quit, the other guy, I think a second person was like,
well,
whatever. We don't have enough guns to do this, so I guess I'm gonna go. So maybe frustrating to play with strangers over time. We got some good luck and some bad luck, I guess, in that sense. But that's how that stuff's gonna go.
Based on the voice chat, they seem to be into it.
I don't know.
However,
it seemed like it
seemed to be enthused
it
about
seems
the
like a
game.
good time. It seems like something that they could really focus on and continue to build up in a way that like feels very different from the other games in the genre right now. And maybe they could attract a fresh new audience out of this that they wouldn't get by just being the game that happened to be doing this before Battlegrounds and Fortnite came along.
But also not the first.
But also not the first. Yeah. And I messed around with some Fortnite as well. I keep poking at it, trying to see if it'll ever get its hooks in, and so far, no.
Yeah. I actually haven't played since that UPF.
Yeah. You playing it there was like, I should look at this again. So I've been jumping into some solos. And
Fortnite is getting fucking weird. Like,
yeah.
Did you guys end up on that Twitter thread of a bunch of NFL players talking about it last week?
Yeah.
Like it was like I think it was one player tweeted about PUBG and then like fucking 8 other dudes popped in and said like, well, dude, what are you doing? Play Fortnite. Like, I want to say like Richard Sherman was in that thread or
yeah. That's weird.
It was one of the it might have been ABC News, like one of the major network news broadcasts ran a story about like this game is taking the world by storm. It's like preventing kids from doing their schoolwork.
Yeah.
Like it's just like becoming this cultural phenomenon.
It's
crazy.
It's hard to take it at face value for some reason.
Yeah.
There's something about like when Roseanne was out there talking about how she had 20 fucking victories in Fortnite on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
What? Yeah.
I gotta catch up to Roseanne.
I just quit. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm stopping.
Uninstall. That's what Roseanne says.
Weird.
On one hand, like, yes, they're out there touting really huge numbers and all this other stuff, but it's hard not to look at that stuff and like very cynically immediately think like, they're paying these people to do this, right? But I don't know. I mean, that would be.
I think
they would need to disclose that.
I think it's past the point of that.
Yeah, like you hit a tipping point where you no longer have to do that, right? If you do it
right,
for long enough
exactly,
and it works, then you don't have to anymore.
And it sounds like that they originally were, kind of paying some people to stream the game when it first was out there, and I think that's that stuff was above board, and that's pretty common, like paying streamers to stream
Twitch
the game.
As a business,
that's how that shit works.
I mean, at this point, I assume it's just it runs well, it looks nice.
It runs on
free.
PS4.
It runs on consoles, and it's free. Like that's the linchpin is that everybody can download it. Like it's just
worked for Dota, I guess. Did it? I don't know.
Worked for League.
Sure. Yeah. So I don't know. It's weird to see it become this big phenomenon.
Roseanne, really? I have to see that.
Yes,
now.
Look it up, man. That fucking happened. I talked about it on satellite radio last week.
I thought the football player thing was weird enough in terms of just like a mainstream place for that to
I
pop
almost
up.
launched into a really bad Roseanne impersonation. I'm really glad I didn't.
Oh, no, come on.
No.
Come on.
Me saying this makes it impossible now to go back.
Happen.
I was going to be like kind of a whiny thing about complaining about like bad weapon drops or something, in kind of a nasally
I see
voice.
how you get there, That's makes perfect sense.
Oh God, I was just reminded that her show's coming back.
Yeah,
oh, right.
Now it actually does make me wonder if it's some shitty cross promotional thing,
or if it's just like, hey, let's get people talking about Roseanne. We found the perfect tweet, and it's like Roseanne's social team out there.
Well, that's what I mean.
They're like, what's big?
Like it's some calculated thing.
I don't know.
To get
social media is a business.
To get Roseanne's name in front of 13-year-olds.
It's tempting to. I mean, you just said Roseanne's show is coming back, so whatever is happening, it worked.
That is like the wording. I have 20 Fortnite victory royale wins. Like no punctuation, no capitalization, just like the most.
That makes me believe it.
Yeah,
Because
She was so
it's not
excited
like
to share.
just no enthusiasm, just like
no media, no links to anything.
boilerplate
just,
tweet.
I don't know. I don't know what to make of it.
Huh.
Anyway, that thing seems well made, and I wish I liked the shooting more.
Yeah.
Like the seeing. I think I like watching that game more than I like playing it, because watching the scenarios that pop off in the end game and watching people build that know how to build and watching people maneuver the environment that really know how to build quickly and
the new build upgrade they changed in like the 3.0 patch. They changed it so before, if you wanted to construct something, you had to make sure there was nothing in the path of it, like no trees or rocks or even houses. But now you can build through anything. So that gives people a little more freedom
That's
to like
fucking weird.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense in some parts of the environment more than others. Like if you're building your way up a cliff, you don't want to be like, I'm kind of
there's like
stuck
one little
in.
nub that's blocking me.
But doing it through a house seems like a strange.
Yeah, it doesn't like destroy anything, so you'll just like run up into, like if you're building up into a house, you'll just run up into the wall, but then you can like crack it open or whatever. It's added for some, like, you're out in a field surrounded by trees. Before, you wouldn't have a good position. You'd have to take down a tree to build like a little barricade, but now you can just start.
So doesn't that mean that if you were on the other side of a wall from someone, you could build something through that wall that might pin them in a tighter area?
Well, it's not going to pin them because everything's on like a grid theoretically, so it's not like going to go halfway into a space.
So it stops at the wall. It doesn't poke through the other side.
Yeah. So basically, everything has like a grid. The whole game is gridded up, theoretically. Because you can't like place it anywhere. You have to. If you place something,
you have to place it on the grid.
Places it in the grid. So you could like build around someone, but not into someone.
Okay. I was thinking if you could build on the other side of an existing wall, could you like build a staircase through that then as it fills in, they're suddenly like fucked. Or they have to, switch to pickaxe and break the wall down while you're busy
they're probably
getting around them and shooting them or something. They'd probably
just,
if they're in a building that they can't see you.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, whatever. Weird scenario that probably never actually happens, but that was my first thought when you mentioned that.
I'll probably end up going back at some point. But
you fucking bought the battle pass. You're obligated
fuck,
now.
You're right.
Remember?
Oh
you
god.
Dumbass.
Oh fuck. I gotta go right now.
Do those expire like the Dota ones?
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah.
Man.
I bought the levels too.
How are they?
Because I have to buy the 25 levels because it's practically free.
Of course.
They say a battle pass is coming in May, Brad.
A Dota pass?
Like they're changing it back to a yearly battle pass.
Wait, and it's just lasts for the year?
Or it lasts up to the TI.
I don't know, man. I might be done.
You might be done.
I don't know. It's been a few months and it's been kind of nice.
Yeah. I hit my Dota goal. Like I had a goal so they changed the ranking systems from just like a number to a medal.
Yeah.
And there's 7 medals each with 6 rankings. So you can be like Legend 2 or whatever.
Right.
I made it from the middle one to the one that's right above the middle one, which is Legend. Because I calibrated at that Archon 0, which is like pretty much the middleist, and I was like, I want to get one whole rank up, and I did it. And I was like, I can just stop playing Dota now.
You could.
And then I played a couple more games. I lost like 3 in a row. I was like, if I lose anymore, I'm gonna rank back down. So I need to just quit.
There you go.
And I haven't played since. So who knows? That was only 2 days ago.
Well, now's the time.
Yeah.
Start a second Steam profile.
It's kind of nice playing other games.
Yeah.
Or doing other things.
Yeah, it's fun out here in the rest of the world.
Gone outside a few
all
times.
These awesome new games. Metal Gear Survive just came out.
That's true.
You could be playing that.
I do need to clear some time.
Brad, did you do any hunting this weekend?
Yeah, I tried to play some Hunt Showdown.
Yeah.
The servers were a mess.
Sounds like
I guess, me and you were both playing separately at the same time on Saturday night.
Yeah.
And
kept seeing logging out and logging in, logging out and logging in.
So that may have been the only time they were bad. It's just that me and him both happened to get in there when it was bad.
I definitely saw people saying that it was shaky over the weekend.
It's a little wonky.
I played some last night. That went well.
Yeah.
Played like 3 or 4 matches with Kessler.
Have you won one yet?
No.
Okay.
They were just a mess last night.
So do you die out of every match? Or have you ever like cut your losses and extracted?
like if somebody is extracting the bounty on the other side of the map, so you get a notification when the boss dies, like, and there is an extraction process that you have to sit there for 90 seconds or whatever and wait for your tokens. If like I'm nowhere close to that extraction when it starts happening, I will kill like 6 more zombies.
Kill as many zombies as you can find
and then
just
peace
get
out.
Yeah, I did that for the first time. I actually abandoned my teammate who got himself shot like an idiot. I was like, sorry, dude, because I was just going to get picked off if I went out to get him. So I went and killed some zombies for 5 minutes and then extracted.
This game can make you ruthless. With like how important, like permadeath adds a layer to the.
Yeah, it's because the game is ruthless.
Well,
like,
I mean, but also
shit.
that's what you get for playing with strangers, right?
Well,
is you
that's
have
part
zero
of it.
attachment to their character. Whereas, like if you were playing with a set person that you knew,
well, the
you
attachment
would be at least a little more incentivized to try to save them.
The attachment you have is you get better rewards if both of you get out.
Right.
So there is that.
Yeah.
But
that sounds like it maybe isn't enough all the time.
No.
Because
I was
like brave a 2-on-1 situation.
Like
or
I said,
something like
he got shot right out in the open, and I fucking knew that the guys that shot him were just waiting for his teammate to come out and try to get him up.
Because if the other team is extracting across the map, like they're probably thinking the same thing you are.
Yeah.
Just like, well, we're
And
never going to make it over there.
You get a lot of cash for killing another human.
Yes, player kills are worth a ton of XP and money. So.
But do you have to extract? Like, what if you are in the map and the people with the tokens leave? Does the game end and you get nothing?
No. The game the game ends. It tells you they're gone, and then it's up to you to still extract.
Okay, so it still keps running. You still have to. Okay.
There's an hour limit on servers, and that's it.
Wait, so you could run around and keep farming zombies after they get out?
Theoretically, but also you can run into somebody else who's still running around farming zombies, and I think I need to do that. I had to get my first $0 hunter last night. They just come with like it explicitly is like, hey, you have to buy a shitty hunter. They can't change their gear
Ever?
Until they hit level 4.
Okay.
You can't put level points in them until they hit level 4. They come with like a gun and not even necessarily a 2-hander. Like I had a guy with like the sawed-off shotgun and a pistol.
Yeah.
And so I just like couldn't take any long-range fights. So I need to just basically, I think, farm some.
Wow.
I'm going to probably load in solo, just go kill some dudes and then leave.
Can you even equip gear on them, like the knife and the...
I could if I had some money.
Okay. Oh, sure, yeah.
Does this sound like something where they're like, maybe a little later on in early access or once they roll out for real, it's like, you could buy a $0 hunter, or perhaps you want to buy a hunter from us for real dollars, or perhaps you want to buy some cry cash.
I hope not.
Like, this is the same cry tech that is like trying to roll out their own cryptocurrency and all this other shit.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that this gets rolled into that somehow? Of just like,
I hope it's only cosmetic.
We'll half your frame rate for this game because you're going to be mining cry cash for us, and then we'll get you a real hunter. I like, what's the...
Yeah, what was that other game? I know Will was talking about it. Will in Austin. There's another kind of permadeath early access like game going on that started offering purchasable loot for your characters. Like you could spend some money on it. I wish I could remember.
Oh, it's shit. I played some of this.
But that sounds like a real bummer.
Escape from Tarkov.
Oh, yeah, that's been around for a while. Yeah,
Okay.
that one,
it's like still in some kind of beta thing.
Yeah.
It's
that's a weird
But yeah,
one.
they have it where you can buy items for your character that will die and lose them.
That game frightens me because it's not on Steam. Like it's Russian.
That's a bad fear to have, but also
It's Russian, and you have to sign into their own. Like it just seems like some
load up your VK.com profile.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like it just frightens me a little bit.
That I don't know. That game, like the thing that frightens me about it is the monetization stuff, and like there are things about that game that I've had some form of access to it for a while and have not spent a lot of time with it because every time I launch into it, it seems overwhelming and a little too early.
Yeah.
So faced with like, this key that I got from them gives me some amount of stuff. Like, I don't think I want to lose this stuff on a game that seems half broken right now. I don't even know, like, it's hard to wrap my mind around some of that stuff to begin with. But yeah, we got in and ran around and it just seemed a little too early. I don't know. Maybe it's come a long way since then. If people are now talking about those types of situations of like, oh, you can buy more loot. Like it's like a Star Citizen situation.
The loot is the whole point of the game, right?
Eve or something. I mean, the loot is the point of every game.
Well, but I mean, like, do you level your character, or is it just the gear you have?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay.
It's been too long.
I hope they don't start just selling characters in this game, because the permadeath is like half the reason I feel this pull to keep playing it.
Right.
Is I want to make my dude better.
But
the risk reward of it is what's.
But also,
exciting.
I feel like if you look at like Crytek, where they've been as a company over the years, and some of the other stuff they've done with like Warface, for this free to play game, and like literally them trying to do some kind of cryptocurrency thing. Like you have to imagine that unless Hunt Showdown takes off in a way that then gives them a better way to make money without engaging in that stuff, you have to imagine that this is at least on the table.
I could very much, because it's early access and it's like alpha. I mean, it's pretty messy right now, but I could totally see this coming out of early access and starting to offer like, here, buy a pre-leveled level 8 guy with good stuff.
Hopefully it's more like how PUBG does it, even though I don't think that's great, where it's just cosmetics.
You would hope. But I just look at it as like, you've got this, you earn cash in that game and then spend the cash on unlocking hunters and gear and stuff like that. Like, it would be very easy to then say, why don't you buy $1,000 of hunt bucks and, spend that on some more expendable characters, and whoops, you're terrible at this game. Maybe give us another $10 of real money and we'll give you some more Showdown coins. And then
it's 100 Showdown coins to a hunt buck.
Okay.
I don't know. It's already a little weird. I mean, the game's super punishing. I mean, you die in a second, like a single headshot from full health and you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
So it's already a little intimidating going in there knowing that like, oh, everybody else might be way higher level than me and have better stuff. But somehow knowing that they earned that honestly makes it better.
Totally. Yeah. No, I agree.
Like, yes, these people have better guns and abilities than me, but they fucking ground it out.
Yeah, I agree. It would make me feel a lot worse about the game if I knew other people.
That seems like that would be a real turnoff.
If I knew that people could just spend $10 before a match and have like a super powerful dude, like I might not want to play it anymore.
Yeah. Yes, that seems like a reasonable stance to take.
Yeah.
I wonder how this develops, because, like I said, Crytek seems like it's the stories we've heard out of Crytek over the years of studio closures. The head just stepped down.
Yes, they just changed CEOs and such. It's been a little dodgy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there were stories about like people not getting paid on time and stuff. Yeah, right.
So I don't know. With all that in mind, like I don't know, but like whatever. This game, like a lot of people are talking about it, and hopefully,
hopefully
it does
this is a chance for them to break from some of that.
I don't feel like I've had my really good session with it yet to totally say for sure that I'm way into it, but I might get way into it if I have that good run when the servers are stable and I like win a match or whatever. Like as much as I'm into leveling these individual hunters, I don't think I've had a hunter live through 2 consecutive matches. Like I've gotten out of one match and been able to buy them a couple things, and they always die on the next match. Like, it's really harsh.
Yeah, we had one moment in Hunt Showdown where it was me and Matt Kessler were playing, and we ran up on these. We were tracking these dudes for a little while. They were moving towards the extraction, but we kind of had sight on them, and then they got the tokens and we're making a run for the exit, which was right next to the spawn. And so we're approaching them, and we see them. And this was on my character with just the excuse me, the sawed off and the pistol. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to flank them. I'm gonna have to get in close. You try and take a long shot. He hits one of them. The other guy sees him. They have a firefight. He downs Kessler. I run up on him and I hit him with my shotgun, but it doesn't bring him down. And I started panicking because I'm so used to PUBG where if you get a jump on somebody and you don't kill them right away, you're pretty much dead. Like people are good enough with rifles and stuff
that they're going to swing around and be like, oh, check this shit out.
Yeah. And take you out pretty quick. But then he missed a shot, and then it was just this Revolutionary War ass fight where we're both just like kind of wiggling around and shooting pistols at each other. And then like he ran at me with a knife, and I was just running away. And we just chased each other around this stupid little house for a while, and he eventually killed me. And we were like pretty bummed out, and then we bounced back, and it was like, there was a server error while you were playing that, so good news, your hunters are alive. And bad news if you got any tokens, because you're not going to get the EXP. And so we were like, it didn't even matter.
No. That's good and bad, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the player encounters in that game are at least as tense as PUBG,
yes.
if not more, because they're so infrequent. Like you might not see a person for an entire match.
Yeah. Or you might spawn next to somebody right away.
Or you might see somebody in the first 30 seconds.
I feel like maybe, like, not to just like get back on it, but like that's might be my key thing about Fortnite is I never feel any tension playing it.
Go to Tilted Towers. That's the only place. Like 50 people drop there every.
But
match.
like that's not tension. That's like a shoot. You know, that's a fight.
The tension comes down for like top 10.
Yeah, right. But I guess
that's the only place. I get what you're talking about. That's the only place.
Whereas in Battlegrounds, I feel that tension almost immediately in a lot of situations because it's just like, okay,
stuff is a little slower pace.
I haven't, like that slower pace I think does it for me because it gives you that time to marinate in it and just go like,
yes,
we're fucked.
Yes. That's what this game has.
I don't know where anyone is. And Hunt seems like it definitely has that.
Especially because you don't see a player count, you don't see death messages when other people die. Like 20 minutes into the match, you don't have any idea how many people are even left
that's cool.
out there. Yeah.
We spent like 10 minutes outside of the butcher. We knew he was in the spot, and we were like, "There's got to be someone else here. There's got to be someone."
Totally.
And then so we're like, "Fuck it, let's go." And then we went in and died to him. He just murdered us.
That's kind of what happened on that stream we did. The foliage is super useful. Like it breaks line of sight well enough that like multiple times I've gotten shot at by somebody and ran into the brush. And they lost sight of me, and like you can flank around, and
that's cool.
Like, using the environment is really effective.
And then sometimes you run into a zombie like that's just chilling in there.
Yes. Like a guy that I was having a firefight across a river with, all of a sudden I saw zombies run up on him and start pounding on him while I was shooting at him. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. I installed it. I have not tried it yet.
I just love the atmosphere of it. Like it looks fantastic, and it just got that
good
sound like the sounds, and just like it's just the kind of like 19th century Gothic look to it that is just like it's like gross and creepy and moody in a way that I didn't expect. Like it looks really awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
I definitely want to play some more of that.
Those hive ladies are creepy. She's got the head coming out her side.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And they sound like the way they screech at you.
Yeah.
The sounds are like a huge part of the atmosphere in that game.
Have you, speaking of creepy looking things, have you messed with Vermintide 2 at all? That's out this week.
I played a couple of games of it. I'll tell you what, it was really hard going back and forth between that and Hunt. Both zombie focused games, but with Hunt, you come up on a single grunt zombie, you want to charge your melee attack, you want to get up on him, make sure he doesn't. In Vermintide, I was a dwarf and I could take out like 6 zombies with the zombie rats with the swing of a hammer. So that was pretty different going from one to the other, being like, okay, no, I'm just a machine designed to kill in this game. But Vermintide 2 is pretty cool. I only played like 3 matches.
I played through like the tutorial and then like started I got distracted and didn't get to come back to it, but it looks really good.
It does. It looks a lot better than that first game. That first game was very like reddish brown and stone. Like that was the aesthetic of most of it. Was just kind of like grimy. But this one's got like a lot of cool like green lighting fixtures and stuff. So I was playing through a little bit with somebody who's more familiar with Warhammer than me. And he was talking about how this game added the Chaos faction.
Is this regular Warhammer or 40K?
This is regular Warhammer.
Okay.
This is like up to the end times of regular
39K.
Okay.
And I guess so the Chaos are like zombie dudes. So they're teaming up with the vermin? The rat. I forgot what the name of the
Skaven.
rat. Skaven.
Yeah.
So now this game
played just enough of that Warhammer Online MMO to be able to tell you that. That's disturbing. All right, go on.
That's kind of one of the main differences in this game is now there's multiple enemy types. The first game, had mostly the Skaven, which were rat dudes, and they were like legionnaire looking guys, and like, your specials. This is Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
To very much.
Okay.
It had like your long range gas throwing rats and your Gatling gunner rats or Rattling gunners, I guess they call them.
And it's class based, so you kind of choose whether you want the dwarf or the dude.
there's a dwarf, there's like a dude with a big old sword, like just like a bruiser kind of guy. There's the witch hunter, which is a guy with like a short sword and a gun. There's a bow elf lady and a fire magician lady.
And then like healer,
or is it everybody's
unlockable potions?
Yeah, okay. There's some unlockable classes. I think,
yeah, so there's
I've not seen
this
those.
destinies it up, and every class has 3 subclasses.
Okay.
And you unlock those by leveling up your main class, and they each have different. So there's like skill trees, and then there's a special ability. There's like the default dwarf one is he lays down a big smoke bomb, and that like dizzies all the enemies. And
is there like persistence? Are you upgrading?
Yes.
Like,
So. Huh?
Do they have loot?
Oh, do they have loot?
Yeah.
My impression of the first Vermintide, which I never played, was Left 4 Dead with loot.
Yeah.
Like that. Okay.
They have amped up the loot. There are loot die. There are multiple types of loot boxes you get from missions. There's 7
like
different
loot
crafting
boxes. Do you mean
menus.
like pay to open loot boxes?
No, I mean like
okay. All right.
you get a standard box when you beat a mission, and then it upgrades based on how many like secrets you find, bosses you kill, stuff like that, and it upgrades in quality, and then opens up and gives you 3 items, like different weapons. And the weapons are different. It's not just like skins. You know, it's like, oh, I'm trading in for this long sword for a broadsword that's going to do more damage but has a slower swing and takes more stamina or something like that.
See, that stuff sounds cool. I don't know. Like I tried Vermintide 1 and immediately was pushed away. Like and part of it was because I was coming to it probably like 2 years after it came out or however. Right. But I came to it like sometime last year and tried it out, and it was just like everyone playing the game had been playing it forever, and I was just like bumbling going, I don't know what the fuck, I just hit the stuff. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, just no idea what the fuck I was doing compared to these guys. So they were not having it. So I was like, oh, I'll jump into this one. You know, it's not out till this week. Like, maybe I'll give it a go. And I started on it, and I was just like, you know, like first person melee game. I don't know. Like I'm a little iffy on it personally, but I don't know. It looks. I'm impressed with like the tutorial and some of the early mission stuff, like just the look of it. There's a big old portal. You see all these fuckers coming out of early on. And it's like, okay, there's some nice looking shit in here.
I one little thing that I think is super neat is this game really stresses blocking. Like you have block charges, and you know enemies will knock those out, and like big attacks will knock out a couple charges.
And then some of the like, there's like a rush, like a push block that'll like burn one of your blocks.
Yeah,
right?
you can, if you like dodge forward, you'll kind of do like a little lunge knockback thing. But one thing I noticed that was cool is I kind of forgot about the block completely because I was playing it like Left 4 Dead, where you're just kind of like, it's all about like the spacing of you and the horde and just kind of like slowly whittling down the horde while staying safe.
Like crowd control kind of stuff.
But this one's much more overwhelming. Like they will flank you from behind a lot more than in Left 4 Dead. Like just swarms will come in from the back. So you got to constantly be watching like your archers or whatever, your ranged people, and protecting them if you're melee. But I noticed like one of the characters was yelling at me. It's like in character, she was like, "Hey, dwarf, you gotta work on your blocking," or something. And she said it in like a fancy way. But I was like,
"Hold the left trigger."
Exactly. But I was like, she was right. I haven't blocked anything, and so I started using my shield more, and that made me way more effective. I thought that was just like a cool little thing of like characters calling you out for not playing right.
That's smart.
Instead of like players having to say it or whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna keep with it. It comes out Thursday.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of want to check that out.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call this kind of the hot genre of like, what did you call Hunt? Like kind of PvP,
PvPvE.
Like these like hybrid co-op competitive kind of group things.
It's a competitive game with.
I guess they're not all
like
quite the same.
Creeps, you know.
Kinda, yeah. Like Hunt, sort of like that. Like
Hunt
this.
Hunt is a MOBA. Is what I'm saying. No.
Like I don't even know if you'd like lump Payday into that group. Sort of.
Don't.
I feel like Payday is closer to Vermintide.
I guess so. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like they all are to some degree like the legacy of Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. Cooperative games.
Yeah, I mean that's
co-op games.
Like I don't necessarily.
I got it.
Yeah, I don't think Hunt Showdown really fits into this
not
per
quite,
se
not
because
quite, it's
like
it's way more.
It's a
competitive.
tweak on that.
It's way more competitive, but it does have some similarities.
There were competitive modes in Left 4 Dead, but they were not the thing, right?
Well, they were.
There was like
they
4-on-4
popular, but it was a very
zombies.
different. Yeah,
you would spawn as the special zombies.
Oh right,
yeah,
that's
it was,
right.
Yeah, it was like humans versus zombies.
Yeah,
thing.
And kind of set up.
And there's like
no bill on bill
points.
violence.
Yeah. And there's that what is it, GTFO coming out?
Right.
I've kind of had my eye on just because it looks so good.
Yeah. Terrible name.
Yeah.
Terrible fucking name.
Although it does like get the theme of the game across very clearly. It is a game about getting the fuck out.
I guess so. Yeah.
I just don't like.
Not since, what was that game?
Initialisms as
Run Like Hell that they started trying to abbreviate to run to RLH. Wasn't that?
Yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah. And MDK. There you go.
Yep. Murder, Death, Kill. I don't know. I'm just glad to see a bunch of people iterating on this idea and kind of taking it in different directions.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like, PUBG is kind of the best form for a quote-unquote deathmatch game to take for me at this point. Like, you know, like Quake Champions and like classic deathmatch stuff isn't exactly
crazy, right? Because I would have thought when they first started showing Quake Champions, I was like more worried about the class-based stuff, but I was not at all concerned about the Quakeness of it. I was like, well, whatever. This will at bare minimum, it'll be a new Quake game.
Like the same for UT.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
And
like all those games just came and went.
And there's just not enough. I feel like there's not enough draw to the pure arena shooter.
Right. So like if I wanted to play a pure competitive shooter, I would play something like PUBG. But like the games that I'm talking about here, these sort of hybrid things are like way more, I think, interesting in terms of like design being advanced.
But yeah, I would say that this is more in line with like the Left 4 Dead lineage than even like the PUBG lineage. You know, like Hunt kind of does a little bits and pieces of it, but to me that game reads more as we found a way to make a competitive Left 4 Dead game.
Sure.
Or we found a way to make Evolve, you know, but good.
Sure.
You know.
Flocks of birds and everything.
Yeah.
It's just exciting to see some different stuff happening in multiplayer shooters.
Totally, yeah.
Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's been great. It makes me wonder if like the other games will, you know, the more established games will change things up.
Right.
My gut is no,
Probably
not necessarily.
Yeah.
Not anytime soon.
Not until it's too late.
If World War II, if Call of Duty had not sold well, we'd probably see a lot of different stuff out of them.
Yes,
I bet, but
probably.
I bet that they're looking at that and going like, we know in the back of our heads that this thing has to change up, but it still seems like people want it. So,
speaking of,
I guess they have their zombie mode already.
Yeah, sure. Yes, there is that.
Yeah.
Speaking of big established shooters, there'll be some stuff on that in the near future. You guys have any other current games you want to?
I tried out Pit
Talk
People.
about? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Speaking about,
It's weird to think of that as a current game.
Yeah.
That game feels
right.
like it's like a decade old.
right. Made by the Castle Crasher dudes.
Yeah.
Behemoth.
This is the game. Isn't this the game they announced as Game 4?
Yeah.
Like years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
It's their fourth game.
Yes. Like they like it was literally called Game 4 for like a year or two before they put a real name on it.
Woohoo.
Yes.
It's really weird where Into the Breach is super precise and you have to plan out everything and everything seems very deliberate, and then you jump into Pit People. Where some of your units you can't really specify which individual unit you want to attack, and you have a squad of 6 versus upwards of maybe like 8 or 10 enemies, and it doesn't scratch that tactics itch because everything's a little bit too hectic.
It is like a turn-based thing.
Yeah,
like I've managed to get to this point without actually seeing that much Pit People.
Yeah.
Like I think
Yeah,
I played
I have
it
no idea
when it first got to early access. I looked at it and did not find it especially memorable.
Yeah,
I suppose
we played it on UPF one time. And
I
like,
think I was not there that week.
maybe, yeah.
Okay. So it's a hex-based, turn-based strategy game.
Okay.
You specify where your units are going to go,
Yes.
and generally where they're going to attack, and then you hit enter, and then they'll go for their thing.
generally.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So there are certain units. If you're a tile away, for sure they will target a enemy. But if you have a melee unit that rolls up against maybe 2-3 other enemies surrounding their tile, you can't specify which one they're going to
Got
attack.
it. Okay.
Which gets very frustrating
Yeah.
when you're trying to focus fire on one specific enemy. The game has a lot of style, and it has like the narrator
that's what
from
I was
Battle
gonna-
Block
yeah,
Theater.
Yeah, it's totally got that same vibe
Oh,
from Battle
yeah.
Block of just being super wacky madcap.
I feel like it's more, not less strategy, but you're supposed to just keep going and gunning for it because there is a multiplayer mode that kind of encourages more chaos. To just like, all right, you go there, I'll go here, we'll see what happens. And they stress like, okay, this guy was the MVP of this match.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. From what I remember of it, it's charming, but not. It didn't do a lot for me either, gameplay wise.
Yeah, cool.
I've been playing so much Into the Breach that I see how we're sitting here and think about like an artillery, how it would put. I
God.
started seeing
Like literally, if you shoot the artillery right here, it'll push all of us a square
it's like
out.
a perfect artillery shot right now, and I'll close my eyes and see it.
Right.
Man,
How
it's
cool
getting
do
bad.
you think that game would be? Let's say you put it out on phones. That could probably be a pretty cool AR thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Of
totally.
like look at your phone, and it just shows the table with dudes on it.
Yeah.
I would even do a VR version where I'm just looking at like a board game and I can like move the pieces.
Yeah.
Like even that would be cool.
Totally.
Sorry, I was just like that thought came to me and I was like, oh my god, this game has hit me in a place that other games have not hit me in a while.
Just remember, Jeff is the type that attacks in a straight line. So if we can push him over
So,
that way,
yeah.
he'll just like go right into the water.
It'll be fine.
Man,
I like going into the water. It makes good noise.
good place to be. All right, let's take a quick break and we'll come back and talk about news and other stuff.
there are a lot of men out there that don't go to the doctor very often.
It takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, getting out to the doctor and taking care of.
You got to put on pants,
Man,
and then when you get there, you have to take off pants.
I am already out. But don't be like me out there. If you're looking to improve yourself, there are some things you can do, and you can take it from forhims.com. That's a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness, all for men. They've got medical-grade solutions, real doctors, and generic equivalents to name-brand prescriptions. This isn't wild stuff. This is the actual stuff. This is like this is through a doctor
Medically
type stuff.
proven.
Medically, yeah.
Okay.
But they can keep their costs low because these are well-known generic equivalents. These are not herbal supplements.
Okay.
Prescription solutions backed by science.
Pharmaceuticals.
That's right. But with no waiting room or awkward doctor visits. You can kind of do it all online, saving hours by going to forhims.com and answering a handful of quick questions about your situation. Then a doctor will review it and prescribe you, and everything will be sent directly to your door.
What could be easier?
What could be easier? I don't know.
I guess that was rhetorical.
Yes, you can order now. Listeners will get a trial month of everything you need to keep your hair for just $5 today, right now, while supplies last. See the website for full details. This would cost hundreds if you went to the doctor or a pharmacy. Go to forhims.com/bombcast for more details. That is forhims.com/bombcast.
This week in the news. Got some headlines.
The latest from the headline department.
Yes. The news machine has spun out some stuff.
All right.
I'm going to read it to
They
you.
stopped the presses.
Spin up the news machine.
Yeah, turn the
That's what they
crank.
say.
Turn it faster. Here's a Blockbuster report about the next Battlefield game. You're not going to believe
It's a Blockbuster
this.
exclusive, like a sculptor's cut.
Yes. You're not going to believe this.
Okay, let's hear it.
The next Battlefield game is reportedly set in World War II.
What?
Okay.
I know. I couldn't believe it either.
The Second World War?
Yes, that one.
They had two of them, so
Yeah.
they
So
already
far.
covered the first one. Yeah. To date, there have been two.
Things could change.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this came out of VentureBeat.
It's only 12:30.
I know, right?
Yeah.
The day is young.
Can I fly a Zeppelin?
No, they were done with those by then.
Yeah.
Were they?
Oh, yeah.
There were no Nazi Zeppelins?
I
You're telling me there wasn't a single Nazi Zeppelin, Brad?
don't...
I think they had gotten into more plain stuff.
Just like actual planes.
Yeah.
Witchcraft,
a lot-
summoning demons. I
Yeah.
think.
Did you ever play Spirit Destiny? They got into the yeah. It was
I feel
all
like
a
there
cult.
was
It was
a-
a cult Zeppelin.
I feel like there was a Zeppelin in Wolfenstein.
yeah, probably.
Show Zeppelins are made out of cow intestine.
What?
Yeah, you should look it up sometime.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
Do you know I have cow heart in my heart?
Whoa. Huh.
All
You
right.
should look it up sometime.
Now
Okay.
you're the Zeppelin.
Great. Yeah, GamesBeat reported this. Sounds like some other people, like some YouTubers in the Battlefield community, have also like independently gotten some leaks about this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were internally calling this Battlefield 2.
Uh-huh.
It's about time they made a sequel to
Yeah.
Battlefield.
Yeah.
But it sounds like currently, although it's maybe subject to change, the eventual name will be, I guess you pronounce it Battlefield 5, but they're spelling it Battlefield V. So,
Roman numeral 5.
Yes, Roman numeral. I assume that is Roman numeral 5.
If you're doing a World War II game, that lets you tap into a bunch of V for victory type
That's
shit.
kind of what I was
So-
thinking. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
call it Battlefield VE or something like that.
And they were using the Roman
Or they're
numerals back
saying
then.
that this is Battlefield V because Battlefield 5 came out on the PSP and it was a totally separate thing. And, this is a... Yeah. Yeah, sure.
It's like the least surprise. I saw this and just immediately was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they would have made this decision way before Call of Duty came out, but
also...
Call of Duty, they're obviously thinking along the same lines, which is in both cases, we've kind of gone as far as we can go here. What should we do? Maybe go back to the thing we
Battlefield
started
2143. Let's go.
with. Yeah, that I guess. Well, Call of Duty kind of that community kind of rejected that
salted
direction.
the earth on future
Yes.
war for a little while. I guess.
Yes.
I missed 1943.
The
I
game
liked that one. Yeah.
or the year.
I like
It
that.
was a good year.
Was it?
Yeah, that was reading this reminded me that was the last World War II Battlefield they put out. which got me looking into whether that game is still playable, and it totally is. So
Really?
Maybe we should play
Oh,
1943.
fuck yeah. That's the only Battlefield I ever got really into.
They never made it backwards compatible though, which really is a bummer. It never came out on PC, and yeah, you have
that's right.
Yeah, it was a console only game, and you
that's
had
a weird game.
Yeah, totally. It was like the closest thing to 42 that they ever made.
Yeah. I liked Battlefield 2 an awful lot.
I never played it.
It was fan-motherfucking-tastic.
I remember people in the office being way the fuck into that game when it came out.
What war was that?
That was
all about?
like modern conflict.
Near future?
Yeah.
Although at this point, maybe past.
Yeah.
Because that game's, 12 years old or something?
Sure.
Was it like, whoa, we've got drones?
No, it wasn't even that far.
Okay.
This was before anyone thought about drones as a concept. I don't remember. It's been a long time.
That's what I mean. There's probably there's probably real world tech now that's more impressive than what's
for
in
sure.
Battlefield 2.
Battlefield 2 was fairly rooted in just like your kind of standard like Gulf War type.
Have you guys
stuff.
seen that tank that shoots a heat ray?
Yeah.
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah, that shit is fucked up.
That's weird.
It makes you feel like you're on fire.
Yeah.
I feel like that most of the time.
Good, I think.
Because I get 3 dunks in a row.
Let's see. They've got some additional details that they have unearthed about this thing, such as the campaign they are saying will be similar to Battlefield 1, where it's going to be like
tutorial.
Well,
type stuff.
that, but also kind of little vignettes.
Yeah.
Not a consistent story, but like they mentioned the Battlefield 1 campaign. It's like, you play a British tank driver in France in one mission, and then in the next mission you're an American pilot.
It's really just like
in London.
Try a plane for a while.
Yeah, it's just
here's how you do that.
Here are the different environments and vehicles and abilities in this game.
Never think about this mode ever again. Go play the game.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Let's see.
It's just let you kill Hitler
at the end of the campaign. Just like, hey, this campaign's totally like whatever. So
you have to fly.
Every mission
plane.
ends with you with like, oh no, Hitler's in a plane. Stop him.
And he's like, you blow up the plane, you see him
oh no, Hitler's
like,
in
I'll
a tank.
get you next time, allies.
Hitler did such a good job of killing Hitler himself, though.
That's the ironic thing is you get right up to him and he does it before.
Yeah, the last level you're hunting. You have the directive. It's like hunt down and kill Hitler. You're wandering around and you come to the end of a hallway. It's a mirror and you look into it and you're Hitler.
Oh shit!
You gotta point the gun at yourself.
Let's see.
And it takes place on Venus.
Yeah,
Reagan's there.
They say you're going to be able to go prone on your back.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Which I'm trying to envision how that would look.
You lay down.
Well, right.
On your back.
You kind of like launch yourself backwards. Is that a way of like ducking incoming fire?
You probably crouch.
But still,
it might be more. So if you think about the MGS5 stuff for crouching and rolling, like you could roll around onto your back from. It was really just like as you continue to turn the camera. From like left to right, eventually you get so far as prone that it makes more sense to go on your back and do it.
Yeah.
So maybe it just ended up being a perspective thing.
Sure.
That's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something different. They say they're looking into a cooperative mode, but this says the leak suggests this is a special mode that runs squads of players through randomly generated conquest missions.
Yeah.
So basically, just sounds like a versus AI thing.
Which that could be cool. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
there's merit in that. Sure.
That's kind of it. Those are the details, but like the big thing is just the name and the fact that it's World War II.
No battle royale.
Not as yet.
I think it'd be really hard to like. Well, I don't know. Battlefield is. I don't think Battlefield has really dipped into too many weird mode.
No. Their one mode is unique enough that it just kind of.
They've had. Like,
they've had
like,
modes.
hey, it's get the gold. There's stuff in Bad Company.
But like the classic Battlefield mode of point capture and defense, and
I've always viewed Battlefield as a fairly serious thing. That if you were suddenly like 100 people, 100 different sides, everyone solo, like it wouldn't ring true as a Battlefield experience.
Yeah, I can see.
Whereas Call of Duty with zombies and what the fuck else ever, I'm like,
I buy all of that, but also
sure,
the business side of it.
Yeah, sure.
I am a tiny bit surprised they're not teasing any sort of thing, which makes me think they're not going to have it.
Like I said, I think that those games are doing well enough right now that they're gonna. It'll take a while for that stuff to filter.
Yeah, who do you think is the first big shooter franchise to just shamelessly?
I mean, the Call of Duty China, the free to play Call of Duty online game has a battle royale mode in it.
Okay,
it's not 100 players, but it's it's like 16 or 24, whatever the fuck it is. But like they kind of have a mode like that already. So. Not that means it's going to work its way into mainline Call of Duty anytime soon. That's its own thing for its own market. But,
The last thing in this GameSpeed story is that it will have loot boxes that will be cosmetic only. And then shortly after this, Jason Schreier at Kotaku ran kind of almost like a follow-up piece to this, where he has been talking to people at EA, and the gist of his story is that EA is spooked about loot boxes severely.
Not enough to not do them.
Well,
but,
no.
to at least like think things through maybe a little better than they have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's quotes in the story. One person close to Battlefield said, "No one's going to do pay-to-win stuff anymore. We didn't take any of the loot box controversy lightly."
I love internal quote, "No one's going to do pay-to-win stuff anymore."
Sure. I mean,
it's a really good acknowledgement from an anonymous source.
Might as well own it, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty obvious what Battlefront was doing there.
Sucking.
Yeah.
Is what the game did
Yeah.
a lot of.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny to hear them calling it Battlefield 5. At one point, I'd heard that Battlefield 1 was to be called Battlefield 5.
Yeah, that GameSpeed story mentions that, they were using that name internally for that as well.
Yeah.
So maybe this will get a different name by the time it comes out.
If that is the name that it is like being kicked around, and we're this close to E3 and this close to all this other stuff, I bet the name is
think so
by now.
Like a shot of the development build got out there with that logo in it.
Yeah,
but
they had logos last time around too.
I got it. Battlefield 1944.
Oh,
there you go. Done.
It's time. Yeah, this Kotaku story is fairly lengthy. They touch on Anthem as well. Like, they basically say Anthem is also going to have cosmetic only loot boxes. That none of these games are going to follow in the Battlefront mold, which is probably the least surprising thing ever.
Better than Destiny then.
But not a lot of other details in that, other than that developers between the political stuff going on around loot boxes and the backlash, they sound pretty spooked by that stuff.
They fucking should be.
Yes, absolutely. Could not agree more. Sony has announced that they are 1 year hence, they are going to drop PlayStation 3 and Vita games from the PlayStation Plus free game offering. So next February 2019 will be the last month you will get PS3 and Vita games out of.
I'm torn on this. Because,
me too.
Because they're not replacing it with anything.
Yes, the solution, their make good on this is...
That said,
they're not
going to do PS4?
They currently do PS4.
Currently, it's 2 for each platform, so you're getting 6 games a month. They're just going to drop 4 of them and not replace them with anything.
Great.
You are still going to just get 2 PS2 or PS4
Oh, but they're reducing the price, right? You're going to like $10.
No, of course not. Definitely not. I bet that there's enough math out there. I personally, I cannot tell you the last time I went and redeemed the PS3 or Vita games.
Oh, you don't even add them to cart?
No,
really.
If I'm there doing it and one of them is like presented, I'll like, and do it. But I do not seek out the PS3 or Vita games.
They're almost like, I can't remember the last time. I get them every month just because they're there, but I can't remember the last time I wanted to play one of them.
I have certainly skipped months completely where I've forgotten to even get the PS4 games.
Actually, what I will
certainly
say,
I've done the same thing on Xbox as well.
The most valuable use for those PS3 and Vita games is that sometimes they are cross-play with PS4 equivalents, and then you're getting extra PS4 games that month.
Yeah.
But yeah, like having nothing to offer in place of this.
I mean,
not a good look.
Yeah, it's not a great look, but I bet that they've got the math out there or some kind of stat somewhere that says like, hey, you realize like most players are not even going to notice until we announce it, and then they're going to be pissed off, even though most of them probably never redeem the PS3 or Vita games.
Yeah, but it's still a perception of like loss of value. Like,
yes, because they had to announce it and get out in front of it, and good on them for getting out of it a full year in advance.
Sure.
But yeah, because the only reason that perception now exists is because they had to get up there and announce it.
Yeah.
And I wonder what percentage of players use those PS3 or Vita games.
I'm sure it's tiny.
Yeah.
But
that sucks. I mean, I'm not saying like who cares. I'm saying like that sucks, but also.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that goes into the decision of which console you're going to buy. Like, are you going to buy a PlayStation or Xbox? It's like, well, if I buy a PS4, I'm continuing on this premium plan that gets me more games for my Vita and my PS3. Yeah. It's not completely insignificant.
It's not, but like I think we're deep enough into the generation now that like the number of people that are probably still using a PS3 or Vita ever is probably pretty low. PS3 getting a lot of use in my household lately. Final Fantasy X is getting played again.
Yeah.
I beat Blitzball.
You can beat Blitzball.
And I did there's the one forced game of
Story- the
Blitzball
story
you
one?
have to play. Yeah.
Yeah.
I won that one.
Wait, why did you do it?
Because everyone in the house agrees that it sucks shit. But I am slightly better at watching the tutorial about how to hide behind the goalie.
Okay.
Which last time she played it, I couldn't figure it out. This time, maybe some people recorded some more tutorials or something, or we just found better shit. But I was able to pull it off.
You took the Blitzball bullet.
There was much rejoicing.
Yeah.
That game, every voice in that game sucks.
I don't remember most of them being that bad.
Seymour.
We're gonna. What are we
Yeah,
doing?
yeah.
I think maybe we should get married.
He kind of sucks.
He's fucking trash. Titus is a fucking whiny garbage.
Yuna's okay.
Yuna
She's
is
all right.
okay at best.
I like how
Waka is embarrassing.
I like how over it Lulu is about everything.
All right, that's that we can agree on.
She's hella goth.
Hella.
I don't know. They've got a year. Maybe they'll come up with something to add to this.
Sure. Yeah. That would have been a thing that you would like to think they would have had ready to kind of counteract this stuff.
You
But
would think. But I mean,
yeah.
They are coming hot off the heels of delivering everybody's most wanted game, Knack.
yeah, funny that
That's
like
a free
they
game.
lined it up like, hey, the month we're telling you that you're only getting PS4 games, we've got the greatest PS4 game.
They actually also announced next month's games, and they are legitimately like, okay, all right, those are good games. It's Bloodborne and Ratchet and Clank, the remake.
That's cool.
Like that is a solid pair of games.
Yeah.
To get for free. At the same time, like PS4 is going to be over 5 years old by the time this rolls around. Like if that's all you're getting every month. Seems like the odds of you just ending up with games you already have.
Yeah, and you play online, and you know, like the fees to let you play online at all that come with PlayStation Plus, like that's the service.
Yeah,
you know.
you're probably gonna need the service anyway. But like it just seems like you're gonna run into a lot more cases of just getting games that you already owned.
Yeah, that happens to me most months.
Well, we're in a we
yes.
have access to a lot more
Right.
games than most people. But I'm thinking even for people who just regular consumers are
a lot of people probably bought Bloodborne.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, yeah, it's like probably most of the people that wanted to play Bloodborne have it already. So,
but if you didn't, that's cool. That's
but yes, they
I
are
still think that's my favorite one of those.
They are stepping it up on the free game offering there at least. Capcom put out an announcement that Monster Hunter World is now the highest selling game in Capcom history, which seems kind of insane.
Yeah, in a vacuum, that is a very weird statement.
Like
if you would have told me, you know, last year at this time that Monster Hunter is going to be the greatest selling Capcom game ever.
Yeah. I mean, it's the ever part for me because, like, if, just looking at my friends list, like, of course, yes, like, everybody I know seems to be playing Monster Hunter. But then you think about, like, Capcom made all the Street Fighters.
Yeah.
They made Resident Evil.
But remember,
like, how is this game selling more than Street Fighter or Resident Evil?
There are a fuckload of PS4s out there.
I guess so, yeah. Sure.
And I think that this ends up breaking down because, like, if you total up the total number of sales for Street Fighter 2 era games, it dwarfs this.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. But if you're taking it as like, oh, Street Fighter 2 is a single thing, Street Fighter 2 Turbo,
or like even all the iterations of Street Fighter 4,
right? Yeah, if you're taking that stuff as separate products, then that probably is how you get to this.
Yeah.
This is a weird number because they're combining digital sales and then copies shipped to retail.
Yeah.
Not sold through at retail.
Right. I did see that in the story. They also say they have 7 million active players.
Yeah.
And they said they shipped 7.5 million. So
right.
like they have sold most of those copies.
Yeah. I think last time when their number was 6, I think they had shipped 5 already. So it was, that we're starting to see some reorders or digital sales are coming in, whatever. But I think that's how that went. But yeah, that's cool.
It's cool. It's just weird. Like it's just this obscure, like arcane.
Well, it's this bubbling thing that has been huge in Japan for a long time.
I mean, the design is obscure. Like it's such this arcane, like kind of unintuitive, unfriendly thing.
But think about it, like that's where games went.
I guess so. Yeah.
Sure. Games. The rest of gaming finally caught up to where Monster Hunter has always been.
Yeah.
And and groomed players in such a way that we got to this point where they are able to enjoy, and you know, whatever, like Monster Hunter meets people halfway with Monster Hunter World by kind of streamlining some stuff, making it a little bit simpler. But, you know, the destinies of the world and, you know, games kind of growing up around that stuff, combined with Dark Souls and a lot of the kind of momentum-based combat and stamina bar, like all this stuff prepared people for this game.
That's true.
You know, it's a perfect storm in a lot of ways where everyone was suddenly ready for a fucking Monster Hunter game.
Right.
And they were smart. They, you know, peeled back a lot of the mechanics.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still kind of impenetrable in certain ways, but hearing about how people who have played it before talk about it makes it seem like a much more approachable game.
Definitely.
Also, other loot games are kind of not in the best spot right now. Like I will say anecdotally, the hardest core Destiny players I know have also turned out to become the hardest core Monster Hunter World players.
Yeah, that's
so it seems like a bunch of people transition to this.
It's weird to think that like Monster Hunter will be the one of the biggest detriments to Destiny's longevity.
Yeah, it seems
currently
like it's going,
anyway.
yeah.
Not that Destiny 2 is making all the right decisions to keep people engaged and stuff like that, but that game, I bet, I would not be shocked if a lot of the Destiny player base kind of fell off a cliff when Monster Hunter like started getting its hooks into people.
Just looking at my Twitter feed, that seems like it may have happened to some degree.
I feel like my time away from video games with Metal Gear Survive broke me on Monster Hunter.
Consequences still rippling.
The consequences of finishing Metal Gear Survive.
Playing through Metal Gear Survive is going to be like the butterfly flapping its wings in Singapore. Of the rest of your gaming career.
It was a long time of me not playing Monster Hunter, and then upon finishing with Metal Gear and going like, what's next? Oh, I can go back to Monster Hunter. Like I just didn't have it in me.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
I could see it. I could see that.
For me, getting really into Dragon Ball is what stopped me. Like it was bad timing on that part because I was ready to really get into a game, and they just happened to release a fighting game that I really liked at the same time as Monster Hunter, and then all of a sudden my friends were way ahead of me, and it was just.
I really want to get back into Celeste. Like that's kind of
I did play a bit more.
That and Iconoclast are the two things I'm eyeballing right now. Like, man, I really want to fucking finish these games.
My main problem with Iconoclasts is it got really weirdly like preachy, and just a lot of talk about ideology and like as he's doing, but then like coupled with like that scene where you're crawling in the vent and you can't move because when people are laughing and telling really bad jokes and stuff.
Yeah,
like
I failed that like 3 times.
Yeah, there's some weird.
I'm a little
stuff
bit past that, but I don't know. Like I like the world they set up in Iconoclast, and so like having this thing of where it is this kind of preachy, oppressive regime, and the consequences for disobeying it are fucking really wild.
Yeah.
I got into that. I don't know. So I want to see that stuff through.
I think it's a really solid game that I really enjoyed playing, but I just need to maybe get over some of the lumps in storytelling.
Yeah. Last thing about Monster Hunter that Horizon Quest is in. The Aloy armor set is in there, but only till March 15th. And I'm not even close to like the right hunter rank for it, so I guess I'm just not going to get that.
Me neither.
They'll roll it out again.
You think so?
That thing will probably happen on a rotation.
Okay.
That's my guess. But.
Yeah, like that seems like a lot of work to put into like doing the business deals to get all that stuff implemented to have it only available for 2 weeks.
Right.
Let's see. Y'all see this Yakuza 6 demo fiasco?
Yeah.
Man. Sega put out a demo of Yakuza 6 on PS4 last week.
And their whole thing was like, your progress is going to carry over to the main game.
Okay, so did they announce that ahead of time? That was intentional?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, the demo turned out to be a 30 gig download. And then a bunch of people played through the demo, which was supposed to be the beginning of the game that would then stop you after, an hour or two. And found that they could just keep playing.
It just didn't stop.
And then they got to play through all of Yakuza 6.
Yep.
They started revoking licenses for that.
Is that what they did?
From playing it anymore.
I saw that they took the download down as fast as they could, but I didn't realize they were remote killing it.
It sounds like that they found a way to do that.
I did see a couple people on message boards saying the second they realized what was going on, they yanked their Ethernet cable,
right,
and just kept going.
Yeah, that would be the thing to do, I guess.
Like people were unlocking trophies
Right.
Like
Sega put out an announcement.
Yeah.
Or they put out a response to,
like
I
I
think
think it was
media.
on a Reddit post.
Yeah. And they were just like, well, it was like fairly lighthearted in all told. They were like, hope you liked it. I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
But
we hope you enjoyed your, in quotes, advanced preview of the later chapters of the game.
Yeah.
Sounds like you did.
Yeah, it sounds like that they're gonna wipe trophies.
Yeah,
that note says you'll have to re-earn your trophies, which is strange.
But the save game will still transfer over like they said it would. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do that trophy thing. That's
I mean,
weird.
you can, the trophies live on a server. They can probably
just,
nullify the trophies that way if they wanted to. But the thing I wonder
is a terrible idea. That's
so
the fact that they can just destroy your trophies
actually,
at will.
That is kind of shitty if you're pitching people on this by saying, hey, your progress will carry over. Like they're literally telling you, hey, buy the full game and you can just keep going, but then you're gonna have to replay that stuff.
Well, that's the thing.
It depends
on how the game is built.
Yeah.
If the game, upon loading the save, the game might know, hey, you did these things, and retroactively give you all the trophies.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which you would hope they would do, especially if they're pitching this demo, even without the full download thing happening. You would hope that the demo, because of the way they did the demo, that they would retroactively unlock those trophies.
And I feel like it would work that way because Yakuza is very much a game where you can go into the menu and see, like, you've done 4 out of 6 karaoke songs and 8 out of 10 bowling achievements. And so ideally that it will just, upon loading, like, give you, 6 or 7 achievements.
Yeah,
or whatever.
you would hope. But yeah, we'll see. Sounds like the game's all right. I just want to play some Virtua Fighter.
It's fucking, what a weird year.
Oh, is that Virtua Fighter?
Mm-hmm.
What a
local versus.
What a bizarre state of affairs that Monster Hunter and Dragon Ball and Yakuza are the things that everybody's all excited about.
This is where gaming went, man. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And so, like, I never would have fucking dreamed that we'd be at this point. Especially, like, me personally, even. Being excited about these franchises.
Yeah, like half of it is, like, people I know around here and that work for this website being into this stuff, and then the other half of it is like the industry at large also being
I think
there.
it's I think that's a statement on where a lot of the traditional big games what they have done over the years, and that stuff has maybe grown a little stagnant.
Yep.
And it's left a huge hole for these other games that have been cult hits in the past to really break through.
Games that have kind of been on the cusp for a while.
Yeah.
I've started reading the comic that they put up on the Sega website that is kind of like, hey, if you haven't played Yakuza, here's a comic for each of the games. That'll kind of give you like a plot summary, because I'm
Michael Madsen.
I played 0, and I'm not going to play through 1 through 5, even though I'd like to, but I don't have the time. But it's cool that they have that foresight to put something like that up.
Yeah. I guess like Demon Souls into Dark Souls was sort of like the prototypical example of this whole thing. Just like sort of cult hit, obscure, like not super player friendly thing, but has so much buzz around it that it blows up and becomes a huge thing.
It's part of it is like the breakdown of the shared experience or something, right? It's like the mainstream huge thing that everyone's going to get into, whether it's the summer blockbuster movie or some fucking hit TV show or whatever. Like, that stuff is splintered so far, and now you're seeing it happen to games, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and as
a release of a Halo is still a big deal, but not the way it was.
Yeah. The cool thing about games too is kind of as gamers mature, they start to realize
when is that going to happen?
Theoretically,
okay, all right.
If a gamer might mature. You kind of start to realize what it is in certain, like, what games you like when you're starting out by playing, but then you start to figure out like why you like certain parts of this game or certain things in this game, or this game does something that, but you may have not played other games that do those things just because, like, I never played a Yakuza game because who the fuck plays a Yakuza game?
Yeah.
But then I find Yakuza 0 and I'm like, oh, this totally hits like this thing that I like, this thing that I like, this thing I like.
It was like the right version of that game at the right time.
Yeah.
I think by and large.
And with like Twitter in the state that it is, it's so easy to share information about like
a horrible hellscape. Okay.
A total hellscape, but a total hellscape that is all of information that has existed and will exist.
Right.
Which means you are getting bombarded by like, look at these Yakuza screenshots. Oh, maybe I do want to check out Yakuza.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like very exciting.
I guess like when you mentioned like right game, like it's almost like those games met us in the middle. because they all matured and evolved and got a little
right.
bit more
Like
approachable
I would
as
not.
well.
I still
Like
would
if this
say
was-
do not go back and play the old Yakuza games because they are fucking rough.
Right. Or if this was Dragon Ball fucking what is it?
Budokai?
Or
Xenosaga?
Xenosaga,
like 3 or whatever.
fucking
Like,
Budokai, or
like
whatever.
if it was another one of those games, maybe not. But like the fact that Ark made one, the fact that Monster Hunter like sanded just enough of the shitty rough edges down,
Right.
like the fact that Yakuza got like
But also, I think
ridiculous.
players, because and I honestly, I think you could trace a lot of this back to actually, like Dark Souls. The popularity of Dark Souls has created a player base that is more ready for some arcane systems,
Yes.
some kind of weird stuff being thrown their way that might not be fully explained. Like it's think about where games largely were, and most of them still are here. Just onboarding is a thing that exists for a reason. But like, think about the number of hand-holdy tutorials that most games still present you with.
Yeah.
Like that trend was bucked in a very solid way by Demon Souls, by Dark Souls. And now you're seeing more games start to strip away little bits and pieces of that in a way that's not met with like, man, why the fuck can't they just explain all this shit?
Yeah.
Like people are a little more willing to do the work.
Like, in fact, in Vermintide, I was kind of taken aback by how in-depth the tutorial was. I was like, this is going on for a little while and telling me, like, everything. I was like, this doesn't feel normal. But then I realized, like, that this kind of tutorial would have been just the norm.
Like, yeah, exactly. And I think for a game like that, actually, you probably do need
it's
that.
good. It's good in that game, and I feel like games like Hunt could maybe use a little bit better than a YouTube link that you click on in the main menu that teaches you how to play.
But more and more communities are rising up around games, and this has existed for a long time too, obviously. But I think you're finding more and more, like a larger percentage of the overall player base is probably willing to do some of that legwork and willing to look some shit up.
Willing to go to the Wikia.
Yeah, or talk to their friends about it, or like that sort of stuff. I think is just happening a little bit more frequently, and it's tilted the scales just enough to where it's made these games that you would have been able to. It's not even like dismissing them out of hand because of like I don't play, like the way that Yakuza would get treated. It was more like there's so many other games coming out. They're like, Yakuza's just not. It's below my bar, and things have changed. There are not as many of those huge games coming out that are like taking up all of my mind space for stuff. And those games have gotten better. Like there's just a wider variety. And I think people are more willing to play more stuff. I think everyone got really pigeonholed over the last like people are coming out of their pigeonholes over the last like handful of years. Yeah. After 10 years of just like, I'm a shooter person, I'm a sports person, like we're getting back to people being a little more kind of multi-faceted, a little more well-rounded as players.
Here for the games, man.
Yeah.
It was united under the console.
Or just like the games are becoming very samey around the edges in ways where like the things you learned about Destiny do sort of apply to Monster Hunter. And they found a way to get the people who liked Halo to play Destiny, and now suddenly they're like, man, stats are good. And they're like, the stats on this fucking bone sword are pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah.
So every game's going to be a clicker in 3 years.
Yeah, totally.
Because that's the ultimate form of gaming.
The ultimate form. Sand down every rough edge until all that's left is
one button.
I'm just going to set my phone to make the display not turn off and then set it down until I win. This is WWE Tapmania.
It's, if nothing else, it's been a cool way for Japanese games to start mattering again.
Yeah.
Like after they
Definitely.
were kind of lost in the woods for a few years to have that stuff come back has
I
been
feel like the part of that is
super cool.
And a console game specifically, like with Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
A couple more quick stories. They put out Chrono Trigger on Steam last week. People were
finally.
People were very excited for like 10 minutes. Which even that
I don't understand
weirded
the
me out
excitement
because there
in
was
a weird way because
there were so many versions of Chrono Trigger out there already.
That like and I feel like Square's got a somewhat of a legacy of porting their classic SNES games around in a way that is totally suboptimal and unacceptable.
Very undesirable. Yeah, that's kind of why this is a story. Is it's $15. It's on Steam.
I feel like a
people
lot of
fucking hate it. It's the mobile version. Like there are half a dozen really shitty things about this port, and people are not happy.
I feel like there was a decent number of people who were burned that it wasn't on the SNES Classic. I remember that was like the one game I kind of saw most commonly floated around as like, why isn't this in here?
Yeah.
Right.
And so maybe that kind of lit the fire under people to want another version of it.
Yeah.
And like, you know, a lot of people say, and I guess they're not wrong, the DS version is really good, but it's not super easy to come by these days because it's been out of print for a while.
Yeah.
So like there aren't a lot of modern releases of Chrono Trigger. And like, you know, the PS1 one was okay, but it had load time in it, you know, like they're like
I get why
they've
people
all had
would
issues.
want a good port of Chrono Trigger for the PC.
Yeah.
That part's easy to understand, but it's also very easy to understand how Square, a company that seems bad at this a lot, would fucking think to put the mobile version of that game on PC.
Like it's still got all the touch controls in it.
Yeah. Like could you play it on a Surface and literally
don't
play
know.
it touch-wise, or is it
doubt-
just like you could play it with a mouse?
I don't know if anybody's tested that.
Yeah. I guess actually the Surface. Anyway, well, whatever.
Some of the like sprites and stuff are not like exactly what people are looking for. There are like tiling errors in it.
Cool.
Like just the literal background, the tiles that make up the backgrounds are like
like misaligned? And
yeah.
shit? Oh,
In cases you can see the sides of the tiles because they're not put together right.
good.
It's a mess. I mean, it's just a shitty way to treat.
Well, it's a good thing no one thinks
ever.
Chrono Trigger is one of the greatest games ever made and wants to experience the magic again.
But it's like so it's super unsurprising because like they put out Final Fantasy VI on Steam and that's also a shitty version.
Right. Yeah. That's
Also, I think-
that's exactly what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
is like,
they've
yes,
done this before.
Yeah.
So not the biggest surprise, but
They could literally license a Super Nintendo emulator.
Yeah. People would have been happier with that.
And it would not, I mean, it's not zero work,
Yeah.
but like that path exists for them to actually put out the right version of the game,
the real thing,
and sell it legally.
What emulator would you license if you were going to go that route? What's the one that would make people happy?
BSNES, Hygan.
Yeah.
Like that's I mean, you could get by with a different emulator with a lot of these games because the differences are pretty imperceptible in most
but
cases.
if you actually respect your prior work and like want it to be presented in the best
I think
way,
that's the most accurate.
Is that the way to go?
Emulator out there for Super Nintendo stuff specifically. I don't know what the licensing terms are for that or what the way around that is because it is open source, so it's technically not supposed to be used for. This goes around a lot. Like Hyperkin put out that Retron 5, and they found like some emulator authors found like there's like SNES 9X code in this thing that you used without a license, and then they were kind of creeps about it when confronted, and. So they actually have a new device coming out that plays Super Nintendo games, and I wrote an email to the person that sent out the press release going, "So, would you license for this?" to see just because I'm curious to see what the response is.
Yeah.
I've not heard back, but yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. That would be if this was up to me, I would be out there licensing BSNES.
I guess
Hygan, whatever you want to call it.
I guess I shouldn't say for sure that I know that would be easier, but that almost seems like it would be easier.
It seems like it would be until you get into the weeds on like, oh wait, how do we stop people from just ripping the ROM out of this and then having a free
maybe that's why
copy of this game, as if that's not like widely available in on a zillion different websites.
I finally tricked them by buying this
finally
game.
But like that's a cool thing to do sometimes too, because SNK has sold a lot of emulated Neo Geo stuff, and a lot of that has just been like, hey, this is actually a weird workaround for you to get licenses in a sense for these ROMs.
Yeah, like then you can legally use that ROM in other places.
You can be like, oh, well, I'm just going to point this emulator at this directory, and then suddenly we're doing Fightcade, or something like that.
Yeah,
that's been cool. So there's that too. I don't know, but. Yeah, I don't know. That's maybe a little more open-minded than I think a lot of publishers would want to be with their properties and code these days.
It seems that way.
But that's what I would do. I don't know if you get away with selling it for $15 or I don't know what the licensing fee would be, for the emulator, all that other stuff. I don't know, but you would think it would cost less than porting this mobile game to PC.
Yeah, one would think.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we don't know the answers to that.
Yeah. Lastly, last week, the President of the United States said he was going to meet with a bunch of video game industry leaders about the issue of violence in video games.
Oh, finally.
Shortly after, the ESA said, we don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
Turned out that no invites had been sent. No discussion had been had.
Just the World of Tanks people, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Just going to meet with them.
Who would have thought? An Escape from Tarkov. But let's see. I'm trying to figure out when this happened. Yesterday. This happened like late yesterday. The ESA came back around yesterday and said, "Hey, we've gotten invites now. This is going to happen."
Oh, good.
So the conversation is going to take place this Thursday, March the 8th.
Just in time for Vermintide.
Yeah.
At which time they can discuss how to stop violent video games from causing mass violence.
Yeah, that's
So-
how that works.
Yeah.
Around the world, everyone
yeah.
is constantly
All those studies that are coming out and saying there's a direct one-to-one link between the two.
Definitely. Like I can't keep track of the number of violent acts I've committed.
I'm
Like,
thinking about launching missiles into the middle of the three of us. Like, look
I
at
know.
me.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
fucking
See, you're part of the
clearly-
fucking problem.
Clearly affecting your cognition.
Artillery.
At the same time that they came out and said, "Hey, we've gotten these invites and we accepted them," they were also out there saying, "Hey, like numerous studies have shown there is no substance to this claim whatsoever."
What if he just gets on them about loot boxes? I spent $800 trying to get this Zenyatta skin, and I couldn't get it.
I don't think economic exploitation is a major concern, personally.
The loot boxes aren't good enough.
What if the loot boxes were made of steel?
Yeah.
Okay,
American steel.
American steel.
now we're getting somewhere.
You have to funnel coal into this oven to open the loot box.
Clean coal.
Yeah.
It costs you 1 elephant tusk.
Yeah, they put out a statement that numerous authorities and reputable scientific studies have found no connection between games and real-life violence. Like all Americans, we are deeply concerned about the level of gun violence in the United States. Video games are plainly not the issue. Entertainment is distributed and consumed globally, but the U.S. has an exponentially higher level of gun violence than any other nation.
Huh, weird.
That's the ESA. So,
It's like the most cogent thing I've seen of the ESA in a long time.
yeah, they will have this meeting on Thursday. I don't think as far as I can tell, they haven't put out any names as to who specifically would be meeting. Who do you think's going?
Who's the head of the ESA these days? I don't.
Whoever that is.
Yeah.
Adam
Probably
Boys.
Mike Gallagher.
Yes,
No,
Adam Boys would be
no,
there. Dave
They
Lang.
are not. They are not members of the ESA.
Are they not?
No.
Huh. I don't
So
know,
it's
you
just
could-
members of the ESA?
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, I would assume,
It's
just
probably
like-
it's the ESA leadership.
I
I would
would-
presume.
well, I
that
would
go,
assume they
which-
probably
and
have
maybe
some-
some board members because they have like I believe officers from publishers are on the board of the ESA.
yeah, I
or
was going to
something,
say
right?
I could see a few CEOs of major
Yeah.
publishers.
Yeah.
I could go.
Maybe see Bobby Kotick there or somebody like that. I don't know. Maybe.
Mm.
I don't know.
Can I go?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
But you can be our representative.
Yeah.
I'll email them. And
Yeah. Just be like, I'm gonna check this out.
So check it. This game out is called Dota. It's not violent because everyone comes back to life, and
It's not violent because everyone's too small. You can't really see the
Yeah.
violence.
Yeah.
it's only violent. Don't ignore people saying I'm gonna go show up in your house and kill you for
Yeah,
not buying
everybody-
wards. But
Everybody that plays it is really friendly. It's
Hmm.
a really welcoming place
Wait
to
a
be.
minute.
Yeah.
Jack Thompson was right.
Jack Thompson wouldn't buy wards.
I bet he wouldn't.
He wouldn't.
Emails?
Absolutely.
Emails. Let's read some emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com. I don't know. I feel like I throw out a soft opportunity for a bathroom break there in case anybody. I don't know.
No, man.
I'm good.
We're all
keep
good.
trucking.
All right.
For the long haul.
Yeah. Let's keep going then. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address. Dominic from Columbus. I don't know which Columbus. There's probably a lot of them. When you hear the letters NWA, do you instinctively think of the wrestling organization or the rap group?
Rap group.
For me, it shifted sometime in the last few years from the rap group to the wrestling organization.
What?
I want to go back.
That's the opposite way it should shift.
I think of the airline.
Oh, wow.
No, I don't think of
I was going to say that's a
Yeah.
deep cut.
No, I do not think of the wrestling organization. But that's Billy Corgan bought the rights to the NWA wrestling organization.
What?
Which was maybe a little more prominent in the 80s
Huh.
and prior, of course.
I don't.
But yes, the NWA still exists.
Is it National Wrestling
Alliance.
Associ-
Yes.
Alliance? Oh.
Yeah.
I was thinking with that movie.
Mm-hmm.
If
Straight Outta
anything,
Compton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would come back.
Yeah.
Did they
To
say
the rap
anything
group.
about how much he paid?
For
that?
Like Billy Corgan, like
He was attempting
That
to
one.
buy. Yeah.
The
Yes.
only
No, yes.
Billy
the only Billy Corgan, who also owned a portion of TNA wrestling for a period of time.
Weird.
And then prior to that, he was affiliated with a regional organization running out of Chicago.
It wasn't
Resistance.
PWG. It was Resistance.
No, I think it was Resistance.
Okay, yeah.
And then he was around in the ECW days,
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I don't remember what his role was, but he was affiliated with ECW for a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just have to remember all this when he's out there saying the things he likes to say.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
all those
SJWs are modern day Nazis, which
Yeah.
he was kind of touting around saying.
So the
he
perfect
became
head of a wrestling organization is what you're
yeah,
saying.
it sounds like a good.
He became a weird dude, didn't he?
Yes. Oh yes.
I don't see.
He was always a weird dude.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't see anything about how much it cost. He probably got it for a song, right? That could not
Yeah,
have
it
been
was,
new.
tonight.
that could not have been worth much. Let's see. Email from Andrew. Is it possible that Death Stranding turns out to basically be Metal Gear Survive? All of the dust stuff looks a lot like the last trailer for Death Stranding. What if Survive is made up of leftover ideas that Kojima is still working on?
Are there any babies in Metal Gear Survive?
No.
Okay.
Not that I've
Not the
encountered so far. There's a child.
Is he inside anyone's stomach?
No. Not. I mean, no.
This sounds like nonsense at first, but then I actually started thinking about it, and it's like, what if they were talking about a game of this nature before Kojima left? What if he was into this idea, and he also took these ideas with him, and it will actually have some resemblance?
I don't know. That is kind of a. I guess when you put it that way, I see like a minor surface resemblance.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not to the extent that like
he was out there saying like, oh, I have nothing to do with Metal Gear Survive. I don't know where that came from.
Oh, I believe that, but like that doesn't in any way mean that there won't be some design similarities. I'm not saying like Survive or Death Stranding is going to have straight up like hunger and thirst meters or anything like that, but
fucking better not.
yeah.
Next email.
But he did make the game that led to Metal Gear Survive, so
Right. Yeah. Maybe it's just two sides of the same coin.
yeah, maybe. Let's see.
Did we get any GameStop stories? Horror stories?
No. Damn. Not really. It's actually kind of a bummer.
Had a couple of people try and call into the after show with stuff. I told them to email. So
That's a shame. They should have done it.
Oh, well.
They'll come back.
Let's see. Matt from Wadsworth, Ohio. I was listening to Jeff's appearance on Shade 45. Lord Sear
The hype is real.
I fucking have no idea what this guy's talking about. Lord Sear enthusiastically introduced his guest, Jeff Gerstein, and it got me wondering, what's the worst anyone has ever messed up your name? Fingers crossed that Jason is on this week's Bombcast. Sorry.
it's like the one week he's not.
Yeah. That one's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't really care.
Yeah,
that
totally.
much.
Totally. I don't either. You seem to get Gertzman a whole lot.
Yeah. T before the S. I hear
Yes.
that most of all, probably. Spelling it out, people spell it wrong all over the place.
Sure.
But
I get Schumacher on a fair basis.
Sure. Yeah.
Turns out when your name is two one-syllable words, it's
Yeah.
pretty
Not
pretty
a
easy
lot
to
of-
nail.
Yeah.
Not a lot of room for interpretation.
I had somebody spell Pac, P-A-Q-U-E once, and that was probably the weirdest it ever got.
That's pretty good.
You should go with that. That's
It's more mysterious.
start like a French
It's almost
persona.
like Mystique.
Yeah.
I've had someone forcibly tell me, it's like, no, your name is pronounced Jan. It's not Jan. It's like, nah, it's Jan. No, it's Jan. I've also had Ochoa before instead of Ochoa.
Huh.
I don't know how the vowels make that sound.
Yeah. Yeah, you start saying stuff and just sounds come out. It happens. People like throw a lot of H
Oitoya.
noises into my name a lot of the time. A lot of SH in there and so stuff like that.
Goish, man.
Ryan from Chicago. Why hasn't Capcom developed Capcom versus SNK 3? Are Capcom and SNK not on good terms? Were they not happy with the awful SNK chaos? I feel this would be way easier to develop rather than dealing with Disney and Marvel.
Yeah, but it's also a very different game. You know, like that is not a versus game in the same way that Marvel versus Capcom was a versus game. Like
It is a three-character game, but it's not. You're not tagging.
Yeah, or Capcom versus SNK is not over the top in the same way.
You're not
It's
jumping
much
three
more
screens.
rooted. Yeah, it's much more rooted in those fighting games. So
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't done a
I
third
think
one.
what they gotta fucking do. I mean, yes, they should do that. I would love to see those two rosters collide again. That's fun. But Capcom versus Capcom. They're their own worst enemy.
Go on.
Like
Calico?
Capcom fighting game characters on one half of the screen,
Uh-huh.
and then just like Frank West.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Hunter.
Like all the stuff they were doing with Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and 3, maybe less Infinite in there. But all Capcom characters.
What's the line? Okay, so there's no
fucking.
There are no two Capcoms in your mind?
No external licensee that you have to go out there and like placate.
Okay,
just say this is our roster of characters. We've got enough of them.
But you're not talking about delineating two like buckets of Capcom characters.
No.
I think you could do that.
Okay.
You could arbitrarily do that and find a way to have your fucking Capcom Civil War moment. Yeah,
that's
Capcom
kind of what
fighting
I was thinking.
characters
Like
versus non-fighting characters.
Good,
Maybe
good Capcom versus
way.
bad Capcom or something like that.
It's
all bad Capcom.
Put Ashura in a game.
Yeah. What the fuck?
I wonder if they own that character.
Oh,
or
I
if
wonder.
It's CyberConnect 2.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. They may not have access to that
How about
character.
Gene
Dino Crisis?
Yeah.
Who?
from God
A
Hand?
fucking dinosaur from Dino Crisis.
Hell
Put
yeah.
Gene from
Yeah.
God Hand in there. Put the guy from Speed Rumbler in there, and his super is his car.
Dr. Light, just throw him in there.
Yeah, why not? I think that they've got a deep enough roster of beloved characters that like you no longer attract the external Marvel / Disney audience, but that sounds like it was a hassle. So I think
it did not pay off.
Yeah, so I think like if you wanted to make a game that like I feel like the fighting game community would be into, you could probably just make a really good versus game with your own characters.
Lord knows Capcom could do some work to win over some fan support.
Yeah.
Especially from the fighting game community.
Yeah. So
After their last two fighting games.
And I think that would be the right way to sell it. The right way to actually get the point across is to just straight up fucking call it Capcom versus Capcom.
That's pretty good.
Or they get DreamWorks. Yeah?
Yeah, if they gave every Capcom character DreamWorks face.
Never
I
mind.
mean the fish from Shark Tale.
Yeah. They need to nerf the fish. It's too much.
I mean, you can counterpick him with Shark, but that's
just not a fun fight to watch
Shark
anymore.
he's just
zero hype in that matchup. Yeah, I think if they just straight up called a game Capcom versus Capcom, it would be the fucking coolest shit.
That's not bad.
Or you find another licensee that's a little easier to work with. I don't know, maybe Tatsunoko would be easier if they went back to that, but that's slightly different too.
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball is too big to do it anymore.
Yeah. Phil from Maryland.
Naruto.
Yes. I walked into the men's room at work today, and after triggering the motion sensor lights, I noticed a pair of shoes peeking out from under one of the stalls. The motion sensor lights probably don't turn off until after at least 10 to 15 minutes of inactivity, so I'm assuming the gentleman had been in there for a while. Do people commonly nap on toilets at work? What's the socially acceptable thing to do here? Peek under to make sure he isn't dead and risk someone walking in on me?
No.
Bang on the stall?
No.
Assume he's having severe stomach issues and leave him alone.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't heard any screams or heard that anyone is missing, so I'm assuming that he was just napping.
He took a potty nap.
He was probably playing a game on his phone.
I think so.
I lost track of time.
Yeah.
Instead of a smoke break, it's a little poo break.
Yeah.
I've definitely done that at other jobs.
And I've definitely
Not here.
other jobs.
Not here.
Okay,
No, not here.
Yeah.
But like, you go in there, it's like maybe 2 p.m. Like you've already had lunch. You took an early lunch around like 11:30.
Yep.
It's like 2:30. You still got a few hours left in the day.
2:30, am I right?
You just go on Facebook, go on Twitter, play a little Tap Mania.
There you go.
And then all of a sudden the lights
I
are
always
off.
play Tap Mania in the stall.
The lights
ran
are off
into
and then it's more
someone-
comfy.
Yeah, you're right. But the public bathroom here, I ran into someone, not ran into, but I overheard someone watching Top Gear on their phone.
That's fucked up.
Full blast.
Yeah, any kind of thing that makes a noise. Like if you're in there and your phone's not on mute, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
That
There was no urgency to it's too loud, I'm going to turn it off. But
that's ridiculous. That's a crime. I feel like that's a crime.
There's nothing like sitting in a dark, quiet bathroom by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
It gives you a kind of sense of peace and security that you can't
I'm
get.
here
in.
handling business. Also, I have definitely been in some bathrooms that have much shorter timers than this 10-minute thing.
I've been at, let's say,
significantly shorter
desks that have shorter time than 10 minutes.
I think all the sensors are not over our desks, so when the other bank of desks clears out, we're just fucked.
Oh, I like it when those lights go out.
they turn off people's computers because like some of the power outlets by our desks also go out.
I was in a PUBG match one time and my monitor died, but my computer didn't because they were both in the different
plugged
ones.
into different things.
So I had to run over, jump around, run back to my computer, and I was dead.
Best part was they didn't tell us about any of that when we moved down here.
Yeah,
so
good stuff.
We just had the outlets randomly going off and not knowing why.
Yeah. Yep. Quality.
Yeah. Sam from Texas. God, what is this email about again? Okay. For my game time, every year starts with me catching up on some of the best single-player experiences of last year. But then at some point, I always get sucked into a multiplayer game that I will spend months and months on. I always get super into improving my rank or spot on a leaderboard. In PUBG, I played until I was in the top 500 on the North American solo leaderboard. Now I am climbing my way up in Dragon Ball FighterZ. So my question is, what is the most obsessed you have ever been with a spot on a leaderboard or a rank or a KD ratio?
Trials.
Trials?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, yeah, sure.
Like friends leaderboard type stuff of like seeing people had beat my time. Trial and Trackmania Turbo.
Yeah.
That console Trackmania actually has some similar leaderboard type stuff.
Does Trackmania has the same thing Trials does of seeing the other player ghosts racing against you? Like there's something about that, seeing them physically in your run, like taunting you as they pull it. I would say the first two Geometry Wars.
Oh, right.
That first Geometry Wars in particular was huge for that, and then the second one they did that really smart thing of having like breaking out the leaderboard on the select screen for each mode.
Right. Yeah.
So you saw it going in. The other one is that the leaderboard in Bastion, I can't remember exactly how it worked. I think it was just
number of times you beat.
Right. I think it was just how many of the like the side like challenge levels you had beaten.
Okay, yeah.
And if you beat all of them, like it just literally was your name and how many of those out of like 10.
Yeah, and
then like basically whoever got all 10 of them first was just like became number one on the leaderboard, and then thereafter it was just in the order that people did it.
Yeah.
So I did that before the game came out, and then I was just number one on the Bastion leaderboard like in perpetuity from then on.
Nice.
Which I was extremely proud of, even though it was not that hard. But then at some point, I think they wised up and they changed the logic for sorting, and I lost my number one spot.
Oh,
it's very sad.
I told that Dota thing that was a big one for me, and then getting on leaderboards for Dust Force, just clear times for that. I became pretty into that game, and trying to get the platinum for. I always forget the name of it. Basement Meat Boy.
Basement Meat
Meat Boy. Binding of Isaac.
Binding of Isaac. For as much as I played like 100 hours of that game, and I still can't ever remember its goddamn name.
Effective.
I think I was number one worldwide for a mobile game for a hot second.
What mobile game?
Tilt to Live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Held on to that for a solid hour.
Nice.
And then I got dethroned.
Yeah.
That game ruled.
That'll happen. Let's see. Brian from Oakland. I heard your discussion about BIOS dumping, and I just wanted to point out that it is possible to clone or reverse engineer a BIOS legally in a White Room setting, much like Compaq White Room cloned the IBM PC BIOS in the 1980s. This is probably significantly easier now than it was then, but if they did that, I can't imagine why it would be a problem to use a White Room clone in real hardware or emulation for games.
What?
Right.
I had to look up what White Room meant.
That means you are
basically whoever's doing the reverse engineering has had zero exposure to the original like source code or internals of the thing they are recreating.
Yeah, so they're able to poke at the final product and go like, well, what happens if I do this? And then they try to clone that reaction on the thing they're making, but with zero privileged access to it.
But if you were to say headhunt a Sony engineer who had worked on the PS2 BIOS and they did it for you, that would be totally not legal.
And also probably like decapping that chip or whatever and like cloning it. You know, obviously that's not legal either.
Yeah,
you end up with some other stuff with some of these other consoles that would have lockout chips in them in the carts and stuff like that. Like Nintendo had a lot of that stuff, like CSC chips and stuff. That
were those the extra processors in the?
No.
Just
it was stuff that was just like
hey,
this is a real thing. You know, like
Okay.
it was a copy protection limitation that they put in. So we did a mailbag for it. Someone sent us an N64 copier that it has a CD drive on it. It plugs into the bottom of the N64. These things were kind of all over certain parts of the internet in the first few years of the N64's release.
I just had a revelation. Is this basically kind of like a latter day version of the Super Wild Card?
Totally.
Like
it's a Dr. 64.
Okay.
You know, it's like
Okay.
it's that sort of stuff.
Just like unlike if people don't know, on the SNES, you could basically get like a floppy drive that plugged into the cart slot of the SNES to
you
play
get like a multi-game hunter or whatever
play games off floppy disk. So this is basically
this is basically that,
but with a CD drive
with
instead.
a CD drive.
That's crazy.
And so, but that thing only works if you take a real cartridge and plug it into a cartridge port on the unit itself.
Okay.
Because it's taking that chip from that cart and passing it through to work.
Are there like different chips for different carts?
No.
Or did you get one card and you're good?
You can get one card and you should be good. I don't know. Actually, that's I don't know enough about that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you'd have situations like that where like the carts have a thing in them too.
So the idea was you would just burn a CD full of N64 ROMs and just play them off the CD? Weird. Huh.
Thing has a parallel port on it too if you want to send, you know, like theoretically it could also be used as like a development tool.
Oh, sure.
You compile your code on the PC, send it over the port, load it up on a real N64. Like
parallel ports.
You could kind of use it that way.
Yeah.
I doubt a significant percentage of people were, but you could.
Yeah.
It's a curious thing from a long ago time. Seeing
weird.
that thing, you're like, man, this shit used to be wild.
Yeah, totally.
Now everything's just flash carts with SD, stuff.
That stuff used to be way more elaborate.
Yeah.
That's how I became exposed to Tetris Battle Gaiden. The person I knew who had that game had it on a floppy disk and played it through their Super Wild Card.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
I would like to own one of those.
Yeah, it was
Super
neat.
Wild Card.
It was neat.
It's just weird enough that like
I always wanted one because I wanted to play through stuff like Seiken Densetsu 3 with the English fan translation patched into it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But
there are plenty of ways to do that now.
Yes. You don't really need that weird thing. Also, they were really hard to come by. Let's see. Adam from Denver. You guys talked about finding discount toys to life in retail stores, but it seems like that genre has one last dying breath. Ubisoft's Starlink Battle for Atlas is slated to come out in fall 2018.
Oh, right.
And focuses on having a modular physical model that matches your in-game ship.
Oh, is it the little
spaceship?
Yeah.
Even showing hot swapping guns in real time. What do you think the fate of this game will be? Is there enough of an audience for this left, or is it hoping to rope in new/older audiences? Any chance of Ubisoft quietly letting this disappear?
I could see like if it's anything like building a Gundam. If it's anything like it's where it's like the actual process of it is part of it, and you're not just like, you know, you're not buying figures, but it's more customizable. It's a little more like I can see that reaching a new audience.
If you end up having to go out and buy new guns.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if you're into like buying Gundams, then
I could see if they targeted it like the people who paint Warhammer miniatures. But they would have to make like a quality of product that those people would be into.
But I mean, literally, like, go out and buy a bag with 2 plastic guns in it so you can put them on your ship. Like, that's a bad microtransaction.
Oh yeah.
I'm
not saying it's good. I'm saying it might hook some people.
There could be some cool stuff. Around that, I guess. But I don't know. Lego Dimensions would walk you through this process of like building the Lego Batmobile, and you didn't have to do it because it was just the tag had the RFID. You just put it on. And I quickly realized that I don't care enough about building other people's Lego designs to want to build a Batmobile. It's much easier.
You just want to build everything into a big gun.
Yeah, a big gun. So I don't know that the building aspect of it. We'll see. I mean, it sounds like it could be a cool thing, but I wonder maybe that'll just come out without any of that stuff. I wonder if it'll go through any kind of change like that.
I don't remember much about the game itself. I can't remember if it was just like a little dinky action game or what it was about. This guy actually had included a postscript, which is the only GameStop story that I saw in the emails. It's not really much of a story, but I'll read it. As a former employee of GameStop, taking in tubs of old Skylanders as trade was the worst task imaginable. People would take breaks early if they saw someone with a suspiciously bulging bag heading in. So there you go.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Laurie from Helsinki. How many Xbox 360 HD DVD players does Jeff have in his collection?
one here. There's one here in the office somewhere, and I have one at home.
Okay. I think there's still a stack of HD DVDs out there somewhere.
I wonder.
I could have sworn I saw a stack of red cases the other day.
Yeah,
There totally is.
Yeah.
I've never seen an HD DVD in action.
they're like Blu-rays, but red.
Pretty much. Second question. When will Sony release a VR G-Police? The fog would help keep the frame rate high.
Never.
Don't think so?
No.
How about a VR Colony Wars?
I don't think they'll revisit that Psygnosis stuff.
No?
I think
Are those
Wipeout
both
is the
Psygnosis games?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Wipeout is the one thing that survived that process
I guess so.
and emerged popular enough to be deemed worthy to continue on.
Sure. Man, Colony Wars was cool.
Yeah, those were both cool games. I don't see it happening. I don't think either of those properties are popular enough to warrant it.
Yeah, maybe not.
Like,
G-Police.
even if
is
you
a good
were
name, though.
making something that was similar, I don't know that you would.
Was G-Police you in a cockpit of some sort?
Yeah, you were like flying around a city, right? Hover ship, cop
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. They made Battlezone for PSVR, so anything could happen, maybe.
But Sony didn't do.
Oh,
that.
I know, but somebody did.
Yeah. I don't think Sony will return to those IPs. Not that they're not worth returning to, especially if you were a smaller studio buying that IP, all this other stuff. Like, yes, but I don't think Sony will do it.
Yeah. Connell from Scotland. What happened to Agent? Sorry, I skipped the first line. He said, with Red Dead Redemption 2 on the horizon, I wanted to ask the question, what happened to Agent? What was that game? Did any of you ever get to see it behind closed doors? The Last Guardian has escaped development hell, so maybe Agent still has a chance. No, I don't think so.
No.
Is it canceled, shelved, or maybe it fell apart without the bends? Have any of you heard anything about it? No, I think they
This was
alluded to it being like fucking long gone.
that
a while
thing,
back, right?
I would wonder how much of it was ever made in the first
Yeah,
place,
totally.
not like when it got killed or something like that. Like, did it ever enter production?
But I guess the one part of this question that we've maybe never really addressed is whether we saw any sign of it like behind closed doors. But no, absolutely not.
Nope.
To my knowledge, they never showed it
I
to
saw it.
anybody.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It
What
looked
was it
bad.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, makes sense. I
The
guess.
guy had a gun, and he was like walking around. He's like, "Where are the bad guys?" And you're just in kind of like a high school gym.
Mm-hmm. It's a weird,
But
weird
there's a
place.
concert going on later that night, so you have to start pulling out the bleachers. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah,
how they,
yeah.
like recline, like
right.
fold out.
Yeah.
So you start doing that, but then you get your finger caught,
I
and
hate
then
that
and you're
happens.
just like, "Oh, damn it!" And then you have to stand there and wait for somebody to come help you. It was a bad game.
That sounds interesting. I mean, it may be another case of like it's just at the time it
Yeah.
was really bad, but maybe now it would work.
It had no recovery in health, which I mean,
Wow.
it's one of those things where
That's
it's like, wow,
hardcore.
this is not
Yeah.
like other games.
It's like a sim.
Yeah.
No, Rockstar didn't really show a lot of games to the press at E3 ever, or for
Well,
like, by the time Vice City was coming out,
Yes.
they were not showing at E3
I think
anymore.
GTA 3 was the last
Yeah.
game they really had at E3 in a major way.
Uh,
But yeah, I don't even know anybody at like a magazine or the people who would see things before anybody else who ever like caught a whiff of Agent.
I've never asked. but,
Yeah, I haven't either because I don't
uh,
really care that much. But
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody.
we have to find somebody who's caught a whiff of the agent.
Yeah.
Gross.
Let's see. Email from Josh.
It's right up there with that that BioShock Vita game
Right. Yeah.
in terms of
Kinda.
things announced on a Sony stage exclusively for Sony devices.
Was that a brand new game or was that just a port of?
They never said. They
Hmm.
never.
That wasn't just like a port of
I
Infinite.
think it was supposed to be a different thing.
Oh wow. Yeah. God. Right. That's fucking weird.
Not that weird.
I
People
guess.
do business and then things
Well,
fall
I know,
apart.
yeah, I know.
It's
Not that weird. It was the Vita.
yeah.
You'd think on your E3 stage or whatever, you would want to be relatively confident that it was actually going to get done.
Shit happens.
But yeah, I guess so.
Logan's Run's not going to make itself.
Sony is not unique in that, to be fair.
Yeah.
Josh writes in, our federal government has taken possession of the only copy of the Wu-Tang Clan album Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, and possibly the only known copy of Lil Wayne's The Carter 5. A WWE Hall of Famer is president. A movie about a mute woman falling in love with a fish person just won the Oscar for Best Picture. Do we live in the strangest timeline?
Nah.
No.
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 I think it'd get weirder.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff, none of those things are actually all that weird compared to everything else that is happening.
Oh, sure. Yes, I am fully with you.
I don't know. One of those kind of sticks out to me.
Fish people, you're right.
Yeah, what a weird thing, huh? Thoughts on the Wu-Tang thing? Do we have
It's
any
not
idea?
even like a real Wu-Tang album,
That,
right?
that story was the best part about it. Is like it was like Ghostface Killah came out relatively recently and was like, yeah, we were recording that thing. No one ever told me it was supposed to be a Wu-Tang album. It was supposed to be a Silver Rings album, who's a producer that had worked with them in the past. Like, we recorded all that stuff for this dude's solo release. And around that time, RZA was getting way into this idea of fucking music as art. So it sounds like they just fucking sold this thing as a Wu-Tang album to fucking put one over on some poor idiot.
I see.
I mean, it is still material that there's only one copy of. So, take that for what it's worth. Not, but what is a real Wu-Tang album in this day and age? It's kind of a larger question, I suppose, too. But
what are they going to do with it, though?
Upload it to LimeWire.
It's gonna go in the vault next to the Ark of the Covenant and all the other shit that the public is not ready for, and it'll just sit there forever.
Yeah.
I don't know, nothing.
Yeah, you're probably
like they'll auction it off, maybe.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. All right, last email. I hope I'm Yanni. I don't know how
Yanni.
I don't know how J's are pronounced in Finnish, so I hope I got that right.
Is it Jani?
Is it
Jani?
It's probably Yanni.
Yeah, that's mine. Nobody's fluent in Finnish around here.
I am. I'm just playing dumb. Go on.
Okay. Longtime listener, fan from Finland here. I'm a professional game programmer and currently working on a 2D platformer library in my spare time.
Nice.
I'd appreciate your input on what you consider the best 2D platformer game in terms of tight controls and gameplay.
Super Mario World.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's my...
That was going to be mine as well. But I think if we're just talking about
the first thing I thought of.
The
very first thing was Super Meat Boy.
Yeah,
that was the first thing that came to mind.
Like in terms of just like tightness and just like straight up player movement, I think Meat Boy has it. Pretty well.
There was something to
down.
Even the acceleration on the jump and like the friction of sliding.
Yeah.
Like how much you would slide before you would slow down and stuff like that. Like something about that game just felt like borderline perfect.
Did you see the stuff about the Celeste stuff, like the movement?
I dipped into that.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
It was cool.
With
like
the fact they put
player
out
movement
their code. Yeah. I looked over it as if I knew what the fuck I was looking at.
When I said I dipped into it, I looked at it and looked at some people talking about it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The thing I read was, I mean, they copped to this when they put it out, was that it was A, undocumented, and B, like just a gigantic mess. And then I saw a ton of programmers commenting on it saying, this thing is a fucking disorganized mess.
Hey, if it fucking compiles at the end,
yes.
Like, who cares?
It seems like people fucking love the way that game plays. So, God, I was trying to think. I had another platformer in mind recently, like
Bubsy.
Right,
yeah.
Of course, yeah. Oh, you know what it was? Is Steamroll Dig 2. Like, I feel like the movement in that game is fucking perfect. Like,
yeah, it's great.
Spelunky
for the type of game it is, but
is a game that like I think is a weird case where like it's not a platformer per se, because it's all about like, I mean, it's kind of like SteamWorld Dig. You're not like in these levels designed to jump around and other stuff. Yeah. It's more about like safely going down to a degree. But I feel like the platform was so tight in Spelunky, like the being able to like run up on the corner and then crouch and fall and like that stuff felt really good.
The one thing that bugs me about Spelunky in that type of 2D game is the bouncing off damage part. Like when it's like the Castlevania thing, if you hit a thing and you bounce back, then you might land in a pit or on spikes.
But you can still control your air momentum to a degree, or you can like rope. You know, there's tricks where if you're like in trouble, you can bail yourself.
I guess so. I feel like one of my prevailing memories of Spelunky is just getting fucking bounced all over the place until I die.
That
getting bounced into an arrow.
Yes, totally. Maybe it's just because I just finished SteamWorld Dig 2 like a month ago, but like. Not just the running and jumping, but the wall jumping and the sliding down walls, and then the grappling hook, and then
that stuff all
jetpack.
Really
like
every the run speed.
Did you ever get that speed running achievement?
No. So I wanted to get the platinum in that thing. And there's a trophy. So they rate you when you beat that game on, God, what is it? It's time, money collected, secrets,
artifacts.
Oh, and deaths. And they're all fucking harsh. Like deaths is no deaths. Like to get the gold star, you have to have no deaths. You have to get all secrets. The money is not a huge problem. It's like a decent amount of money. And then I think it's under 4 hours is the speedrun time. and there's a trophy for getting gold stars in all of those, and I assumed that was on as many runs as you wanted.
But it's in one run.
And I found out that you have to get all 4 of those things on the same run to get that trophy.
Oh,
and then I said, hey, I'm never getting the platinum in SteamWorld Dig 2.
That's not happening.
Like getting all of the fucking secrets
without dying.
and beating that game without dying and getting a ton of money in less than 4 hours. Like, no. Not going to happen.
Oh, well.
I might do that. I might finally get back and do that challenge thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that seems doable. I just haven't gone back to it. But the game is really good.
Those big robots are fuckers.
Yeah, that one room with the robots that jump on top of you is a real pain in the ass. That was my least favorite part of that challenge. All right, that's it for emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is where you send those.
That's right.
Yeah. Y'all got an after show coming up?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
What's in the works?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna take some calls from y'alls and see what's up.
Calls from y'alls?
Yeah.
That'd been a pretty good name for that show.
Oh, well. Also, the Giant Bomb TV beta is running. That launched during the after show last week.
Let's see.
Giantbomb.com/TV.
Yeah, premium members only for in its beta form.
So
but it's a 24/7 live stream of our now 10 years of videos. I guess as of yesterday. It is a decade of videos.
Counting the pre.
Well, that was the launch of the blogs.
Yeah,
right,
yeah. That's what I mean before the actual. Oh, good.
So
Mario Party 2 is on.
Disgusting
right now.
Disgusting. Don't.
How exciting!
I'll go shut it down.
Yeah. Go. Mobs can skip videos. Actually, you can
just run down the hall and kick that machine over. Can you?
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't.
I shouldn't.
You should not.
I shouldn't.
No. People voted for that.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, more changes to that.
We have
come.
some fun ideas of other stuff we can do with that.
Yeah. It's cool. It's fun to just pop in there whenever and just like chat with people about whatever weird thing. Like I happened to come upon one of my Demon Souls videos at one point.
Oh,
and
cool.
I just chatted with whoever was in there about Demon Souls for a while. Like it's just a fun random thing.
Yeah. So that's up now. If you're premium, you can check that out. While it's getting tinkered with and funned around with. New Ranking a Fighter shirt and a new Giant Bomb hat available in the store. What's that? That's store.giantbomb.com.
That's right.
People apparently are in Giant Bomb TV and also listening to this podcast.
Yep.
Because
you're doing it wrong. Fucking things up. All right. But that's all I got.
And I guess there is some premium stuff that shows up in there.
Mario Party is a premium
Of course,
thing.
if you're listening to this live, you're already premium. But yeah, if you don't have premium, you will maybe catch some here and there.
Well, right now it's premium only for the beta.
Right, that's right. I'm sorry. I forgot we haven't opened it up to everybody.
But once it's open, who knows?
Yeah, once it's open, the idea is that we'll occasionally pepper in some premium stuff in there if people want to vote for it, they can, or something like that. But we'll see. A lot of tweaks, a lot of different ideas about some stuff that we can do with that.
It's cool.
Probably rename it at some point too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
It's
Yes.
so short and to the point.
Renaming it.
You have a better name?
Yeah.
All right. I'm curious to find out what that is
Giant
later.
Bomb 2.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Are we going to get some GBJs?
Hell yeah. Wait, what are you talking about?
Giant Bomb jockeys?
Oh. No.
Oh, I thought that was an MTV2 reference. Can we get Martha Quinn to come in and introduce all of our videos?
Probably, actually.
Okay.
But I want to shoot some dumb stuff to play between the videos.
Yeah.
I have some very bad ideas.
We got a green screen. Let's use it.
Yeah.
It's true.
All right. So, that'll be implemented. Anyway, a lot to do around that stuff. But the beta's been really fun. So check it out.
People seem to be liking it.
It's giantbomb.com/TV if you're logged into your premium account.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, then let's get out of here so you guys can prep for that after show.
All right.
Thanks for listening to the Giant Bombcast. We'll see you back here next week.